How you doing?
Well, it's actually not the birthplace of Terry Crews, but he is famous for being the only coach that has ever been honorary mayor. I think forever for Calgary. When you get the cup,
Mhm.
I think you're good in this town for as long as you live. That's for sure.
Every time you go, drinks are on the house.
That I think he's had a few. I think he's had a few of those over the years, D-Mace. No question about it.
Uh,
D-Mase is here as well. D-Mase, how we doing?
hey, I'm doing well. Just another day in paradise as we sit here and go back and forth with our, in-state sports. So
That's what we love.
let's get it
That's what we're
started.
Let's get it popping because we will hear from Tim Hasselback in 1 hour, but we'll also hear from Mike Vrabel 2 hours from now. He will take the podium at 1 o'clock and address questions from the media. We will carry that live and in its entirety. Kind of a funky media schedule this week. Normally we hear from Mike Vrabel on Mondays and Wednesdays with the game on Thursday night. We heard from him on Friday, so we'll hear from him today and I believe tomorrow as well. Maybe it's just players tomorrow. We hear from two mystery players today after Mike Vrabel takes the podium. Could be Ryan Tannehill and Will Levis. Could be neither. If I have to lean one way or another, I'm going to say neither.
Yeah, I would say neither either.
But do you think we're going to get any insight on the quarterback position and who is going to start on Sunday from Vrabel at the podium in 2 hours?
I have, with Vrabel, I have no idea, honestly, because listen, if you don't make a decision until you have to make a decision, and right now it's Tuesday and he doesn't have to make a decision. So if we hear something about who's going to quarterback this Tennessee Titan team moving forward, then we will hear it today. Either way. If not, then we will hear it or see it come Sunday. Either way, we will know who the quarterback is before they strap it up and go against Tampa. But honestly, I don't understand sort of this secretiveness with him in the quarterbacks. Tell me if you agree with that, Willie, because my thing is the young man that's played well the past two games. He's looked like the future. Now, I get it, things can change, but he showed, again, I go back to not the arm strength, the poise, the leadership he has shown on the field. When he's got knocked down, he's gotten right back up. If he was the first pick in the NFL draft, the second pick in the NFL draft, the third or the fourth or the fifth, there would be no questions on who's the quarterback moving forward. Vrabel would have already said it. But because he wasn't, he can sort of hold on to this. Well, I don't know when we'll make a decision when Tannehill is healthy. Newsflash, Tannehill is not going to be healthy none this season moving forward. He's not. He's always going to be around 85, 90%. He's not going to be fully healthy. So I don't know why he's doing this, but he has his reasons. It's his team. And hopefully the decision he makes will be the betterment for this franchise moving forward.
I gave you my theory on Friday. I'm going to stick to it. I do think he's going to be very respectful on how he hands the reins over to Will Levis, because I think it's pretty obvious to everybody that it's time to give the kid a shot. Where the franchise is right now, and it may be obvious to everybody but Ryan Tannehill. Maybe Ryan Tannehill is such a competitor. He probably knows as a pro that this is how it is, but the competitor in him probably thinks he can still play. But I think you hit on the key issue, D-Mace. The first thing I want to know is he anywhere close to being healthy? Because we watched him last year on that ankle when he hurt it initially. He battled through it, and they had no other option. He battled through it, but he was not himself. And I give him a lot of credit for staying out there and knowing that he gave his team the best chance of winning. That probably is not the case right now, and it may not be for several weeks. And by the time he does get healthy, you would hope as a franchise that Will Levis has an even stronger hold on the job. So the first thing we have to see is, can he even practice? But if he's able to practice, I would fully expect that Will Levis gets the starters reps.
And that's what I would think too, because it feels obvious. And it should be obvious who the starter will be on Sunday, and not just on Sunday, but moving forward. That you throw in the young guy, He looked the way that he looked, and not even just the 4-touchdown performance, but against the Steelers as well. And look, I know that performance against the Steelers wasn't as flashy or sexy as a 4-touchdown performance against the Atlanta Falcons. I know that Will Levis wasn't perfect against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but we didn't expect him to be perfect. Nor did we really need Will Levis to look perfect to feel like he was the guy moving forward. We just needed to see the same kind of poise that we saw against the Atlanta Falcons. We needed Will Levis to show progression. We needed Will Levis to show confidence against a really tough Pittsburgh defensive front. And we saw that. And I think the two biggest things for me about Will Levis against the Steelers, one was he kept getting smacked in the mouth and he continued to get back up and continued to make plays. And the second thing, where there were enough plays that Will Levis made that I didn't think Ryan Tannehill could make. Throws that Will Levis attempted that I don't think Ryan Tannehill ever would have thought of. In particular, the one where he hit Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. It was a 25-ish yard pass where he stepped up to avoid the sack and then made the beautiful completion to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. That's a throw that I don't think Ryan Tannehill makes. So it feels obvious, right? Mm-hmm. It should be obvious.
Yeah. But
for some reason, I feel like Mike Vrabel's not going to make it as obvious as we all feel that it's going to be.
Well, I think he's going to maybe he's going with the sort of the old school coach of keeping the opponent guessing a little bit if he's got the opportunity to do that. But I think the big thing to do, and I fully expect Mike Vrabel to do this, when he makes that announcement that Will Levis is the starter, and I think it's a win. I think he's going to want to do it with class, right? He wants to do it to show respect to what Ryan Tannehill has done and what Ryan Tannehill has done for Mike Vrabel. Where would this franchise be if they didn't pull the rabbit out of the hat and steal Ryan Tannehill for nothing in a trade that did not make NFL headlines in the least? I remember where I was when they made that trade. I was like, oh, nice. They found a backup. Oh, interesting. Insurance policy. But I never thought in my wildest dreams that he would do what he did as a starter. So I think you got to be cognizant of that and it can't just be a flippant thing. Oh, yes, by the way, Will Levis is a starter. I think you want to try to do it with class. And I think Mike Vrabel will put some thought into that on how he does it.
Well, let's hope that is the reason why he is choosing to sort of prolong this decision, that you want to give everyone enough time to, think about this, evaluate it, and process it moving forward. Hear from the owner, obviously hear from the GM, head coach has to say what he needs to say, but then relay all of that to Ryan Tannehill with the level of respect that I think he deserves. I think, when you play this game for the period of time that Ryan has played, any player, you deserve a level of respect from the franchise, whether they let you go, choose not to sign you, cut you, whatever, or, having to, demote you in a sense from being a starter to a backup. You're owed a level of respect because you went out there and you laid it on the line. You did all the things that they've asked you to do. You worked your ass off in off season, and you've got knocked around so much that it has caused you to miss games. I'm talking about Ryan Tannehill. So I believe you do owe him, like literally, you owe him that level of respect. But you could have did that and still name Will Levis the quarterback already. I think
could have, yep.
Yeah, I think the minute he got hurt, Ryan Tannehill, and he saw that young man go in, he leapfrogged Malik Willis to be the starter. That should have told Ryan Tannehill, my days are over. If this kid goes out here and he plays okay, my days are over. I'm a veteran guy, expiring contract. I respect the game. I understand this is how I got the job here because one guy wasn't doing well. But now I lose my job because, one, I wasn't doing great, but then, two, I got hurt. Now this young guy comes in. He looks good. So in my mind, you hate it as a veteran guy, but it's like, man, I chalk it up to the game. It is what it is. The game giveth and the game taketh. And right now, The game has taken away his starting spot because that young man has played well.
And I'm with you, Willie, that this is a situation that's difficult, probably, for this coaching staff. Not in the decision, because I don't think the decision should be difficult. I think the decision is actually, quite frankly, very obvious. But the process and the way that you do it. And I mean, all respect in the world to Ryan Tannehill, because I heard some callers and texters in the morning show and with the Chase and Big Joe show basically poo-pooing on Ryan Tannehill. And look, I get it. The new shiny toy is in town. Your young guy has taken the reins. Your guy of the future, or at least the guy that you believe is your quarterback of the future, is now under center. And now, the old toys, we're going to throw it into the junk pile. Then we're on to the newer and fresher and better. But let's give Ryan Tannehill the respect that he deserves. I mean, my goodness. And I know that playoff game against Cincinnati is going to be a massive stain on his career, in the way that this city and probably the league as a whole, the way that he is remembered, will always be, unfortunately, with the, what's the word I'm looking for here? Is just kind of with the splotch on the resume of the playoff game.
Right. Yeah.
Fair or not, it is what it is.
Yeah, but
everybody will remember that.
Right.
I'm hoping too, though, as we get more removed and you look at the whole arc of time, right? I hope they will remember that it was kind of a crossroads of the franchise. They were coming to grips with Marcus Mariota is not going to be a franchise quarterback. Where do we go from here? Mm-hmm. And he gave them a pretty good number of exciting Sundays and some playoff wins, not directly because of him, but when you orchestrate some success like that, a couple division titles, I hope people remember those days and don't just remember the one thing. It's like the extreme case of a guy like Bill Buckner, right? Bill Buckner had almost 3,000 hits. I mean, he was unbelievable. He won batting titles, but only remembered for one thing. That's kind of what's wrong, I think, about legacies and things like that, but I hope they look at the full package. I asked the question, what do you guys think? Where would they have gone had they not have had him to sort of rescue them from the end of the Mariota era? What would they have done? In theory, they could be still searching for the guy.
Yeah, they
right?
could. They could have gotten
the Bears
him already.
have been looking for the guy for 30 years.
They could have gotten him already. I mean,
in
because
theory,
their record would
right.
have been not that good. But
they probably would have taken a stab at it once or twice by now.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you're right. Unfortunately, here in Nashville, I think he will be remembered more so for what he didn't do rather than what he did do in regards to this franchise and helping rise this franchise up, because everybody will go back, well, it was Derrick Henry, it was Derrick Henry. Yeah, it was for the most part, but Ryan had games, that one season he was a damn MVP candidate for a while, so he had a hell of a season, but people are not going to remember that season. Why? Because he lost in the second round to the Baltimore Ravens. And then he ends up doubling down the next following year and lose to the Cincinnati Bengals while throwing 3 interceptions. That's what people are going to remember. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate that will be the case with Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, they will say he did some really good things, but I think majority of the people will look at it as we had a great prime opportunity to go represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, because the road to the Super Bowl had to go to Nashville. It only happened one other time. And what happened in both times? The Titans lost, So, unfortunately, he's going to be, I think, remembered because they haven't gotten back to that point. He will be remembered for that than for what he did in help rescuing this franchise for possibly falling off the map for a few years.
I think it's safe to say Ryan Tannehill is a top 3 quarterback in the history of this franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
Top 2?
No, not top 2. Nah, because you got Warren Moon, you got Steve McNair.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if you don't call
Titans,
Warren Moon,
just the
Titans.
Titans.
Titans, yes. I will put him over Vince Young because Vince Young wasn't sustainable. Mm-hmm. Even though he had immense talent, it wasn't sustainable. So Marcus had a year. That was it. But I think because of where the Titans were at that particular moment, Ryan came in and did a hell of a job at help lifting this organization back up to respectability.
Where does Kerry Collins sit on that list for you?
I don't know because I didn't follow Kerry Collins. I was playing at the time Kerry was playing. All I know is that we beat Kerry Collins. That's it.
Kerry Collins was another guy that sort of.
And Kerry was great. I mean,
he bailed them out.
Yeah.
Bailed them out when Vince Young faltered, right, and gave them a lifeline for one great season. He got them the number 1 seed. But Ryan Tannehill had, 5 seasons of, I guess, what is this? Would this be his 5th year?
Yeah, this would be 5th.
1920, 1, 2, 3. This is his 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a lot longer than Kerry Collins. So I think the other comparable might be Dan Pastorini, if you're going to include the Oilers in the franchise. Now, we're not going way back to the AFL, the 1960s, right? They had some great years in the very, very beginning. I'm not going back that far, but in the modern, I guess what we would consider the modern era, it's Moon, it's definitely McNair, and then you've got a pretty good batch of next guys. And I think Tannehill has got a good argument at number 3, probably Pastorini in there. Pastorini got them to 2 AFC championship games. They could never get past the steel curtain. I think there's some comparables there because what do you remember about that team? You remember Earl Campbell, right? It's not as much Pastorini. Just like you remember about this era, it's much more Derrick Henry than it is Ryan Tannehill. But Tannehill was there, right?
But
Steady.
I would dare to say, Willie, because now Warren Moon's a Hall of Famer. Great quarterback. Great. He had his resume is long, what he was able to do at the University of Washington, going over the Canadian League, coming back to the NFL, won championships over there. So, when you speak of Warren Moon, I mean, you speak of him in high regards. But Warren never took his team to a Super Bowl. Took this team, like the Titans Oilers, to a Super Bowl. Didn't win the MVP.
Never even to the AFC Championship.
Didn't win the MVP. So to me, it's Max slightly. That's just me. It's just me. No slight to Warren whatsoever.
It's a legit argument.
Max slightly over Warren, and then you can throw Ryan Tannehill in there.
And I think that's fair.
That's fair because the team success, no doubt about it, and McNair had enough longevity. Because I think the thing that is the calling card for Moon, who's a Hall of Famer,
exactly,
right?
Absolutely.
And the numbers year in and year out, the bulk of it was with the Oilers there. Those run and shoot numbers look pretty gaudy there. But you're right, he never got to even the Final Four. And so McNair had a Super Bowl and another AFC title game with the Titans.
I think it's safe to say Ryan Tannehill will go up there.
Yeah.
One of the best quarterbacks in this franchise's
Absolutely.
history. And, of course, anytime you get 4 full seasons, and I'm counting half of a season of 19 and a little bit less than a half of 2023, whenever you get 4 pretty complete seasons of starting caliber quarterback play from a guy that you traded for a 4th-round pick, like you'll take that any day of the week.
Course.
But so I think we can establish Ryan Tannehill is up there in the quarterback rankings of this franchise. But what about in terms of this decision that Mike Vrabel is going to make? Although it seems like an easy decision, although it feels inevitable that Will Levis is the guy moving forward, where does this rank in importance of decisions that Mike Vrabel has made or will make as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, of choosing the quarterback moving forward, of this decision that he's going to make? We can continue to get back into it.
This is going to be a long. I'm sure it will be a lengthy answer from the three of us, because there's so much. There's so many moves that have been made when it comes to the Tennessee Titans, and moving away from Mariota when they did to put Ryan Tannehill. That probably essentially, saved the franchise at least for for that period of time. Going away from one running back and then finally committing to Derrick Henry. So that was a big one, a big decision. The A.J. Brown, that's a huge decision. So there's been some decisions within this organization since Vrabel has taken over that have been, really organizational shifters.
Yeah.
In a sense. So, you know, I would like to get more into it on the other side. So, but I would like to hear, you know, Willy's and your answer as well, Caroline.
Your thoughts on that, Willy?
Okay. Well, I thought we were doing it after the break. I think this is this is the way it's unfolded. I think we all want to remember we asked the question. We went through it yesterday before the season. Will Levis get a start, right? Mm-hmm. At the time, you didn't know how it was going to unfold, and it was tricky for a while. But I actually think, in a nutshell, the way it's unfolded, this is a pretty easy decision. Don't you? Where they are, where Levis is, what he's shown, I think this is a no-brainer.
I would agree.
It's a big decision, but it's an easy decision.
And isn't that nice? Wouldn't it be great if every big decision was as easy as this quarterback position feels?
I remember talking about this a lot when Mariota was kind of at the crossroads, going into that last year where they traded for Tannehill. Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking, you know what? It'll be easy to extend his contract if he has a big year. And it'll be easy to part ways with him if he crashes and burns. But the hard decision is if he's right in the middle. And that's kind of what he was, right? He'd have a couple of good games. You're like, hey, Marcus is getting it. That looked pretty good. And then there's a game where it just doesn't happen. Or he just twisted his ankle and he's playing hobbled, or he can't play, or he can't play in that last game against the Colts. So it was just 2 steps forward, 1 step back. He's pretty good, but do we really want to commit? And so that was the tough part about the Mariota thing. And then, they just pulled the rug out, or ripped the Band-Aid off, I should say. They went with Tannehill, and magically he gave them a huge, huge lift, which I thought was a little bit unexpected at the time. I don't think anybody realized how good he was going to be. But this one, I think the way it's unfolded is pretty easy for a coach. It's time to just make the move. It's obvious. We'll continue the conversation coming up next. And yeah, Willy, you're right. It's obvious. This is Will Levis's job now. Don't make it too difficult. Don't overcomplicate it. That is the obvious answer. But we'll continue the conversation coming up next. Plus, I think there's 4 different scenarios of what we could hear from Mike Vrabel at his press conference coming up at 1 o'clock. And we'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, we're brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, let's tell you about Loan Pronto. The year is coming to a close. We're coming up on the holidays. If you need some cash for the holidays, or you're setting some plans like a home improvement project maybe for the year of 2024, call Loan Pronto because they have the financial engine, the tools to get you in position to have the cash for those things. Their Express Equity Line of Credit program can get you thousands of dollars in as little as 5 days. You can access up to 95% of your home's value. And if you're a homeowner in our listening area, there's a good chance you've built up some good equity in your home. So you can use that to your advantage. Use that money to pay off credit cards, pay off personal loans, or like I said, start the home improvement project you've been dreaming of and make that home even more valuable. And you can keep that primary mortgage intact. That's the key. So the 3% rate stays protected. Call Loan Pronto and learn more about the Express Equity Line of Credit program. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
This year, Boys and Girls Club of Middle Tennessee celebrates its 120th anniversary. Through time, BGCMT continues to evolve to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible leaders. Because of your continued support, BGCMT has remained strong and is committed to supporting our youth and solidifying our mission and culture in new exciting ways for 120 years. Visit bgcmt.org today.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and last sale of the year is coming November 17th through 19th. It's an extraordinary event with savings of 20, 30, up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, fans, bracelets. Nothing's held back for this once-a-year, 3-day store-wide sale. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and special pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Lab-grown diamonds, too. Discounts up to 35%. Genesis Diamond, November 17th through 19th only, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey home buyers, TJ Anderson here with More Great Homes. Located just west of Nashville in a tranquil setting of Kingston Springs Ranchettes neighborhood, 1617 Wildlife Trail offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a 2-car garage, and a 1-year builder warranty, all for under $450,000. Contact my team today at tjandersonhomes.com for more info. Want your home listing to be seen and heard by home buyers? Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why we are referred by clients so often. TJ Anderson Homes at Benchmark Realty, office number 615-432-2919.
Black Tap Craft Burgers and Beer is now open in downtown Nashville. Black Tap features award-winning craft burgers, wings, salads, and Instagram-famous Crazy Shake milkshakes with over 2 million sold worldwide. Since opening Black Tap Nashville, they've won the Nashville Scene Best of Nashville Readers Poll for Best Burger, Best New Bar, and Best New Restaurant, as well as Burger Week's Best Original Burger for their signature Tennessee burger. Go check out Black Tap, located downtown just off Broadway across from the Batman Building, and enjoy their culinary excellence of burgers, crazy shakes, and craft beer.
Calling all sweet tooths. Head to Nashville Toffee Company, a place where rich, chocolatey daydreams are created from a secret family recipe generations in the making. Their toffees and candies are handcrafted in Nashville using all natural, kosher-certified ingredients. Sweet creamery butter, pure cane sugar, premium roasted nuts, deep rich chocolate, and sea salt. Visit NashvilleToffeeCompany.com or drop by their headquarters on Air Lane Drive for a positively hassle-free shopping experience. Whether you're buying for 1 or 100, Nashville Toffee Company is here to make your holiday gift giving easy.
Vanderbilt basketball lives here.
Hey, it's Kevin Ingram. The Commodores open the season on Tuesday against Presbyterian. Join Tim Thompson and me for all the coverage starting at 6:30.
Your home for the Commodores is 94.9 The Fan and the Fan app.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
When you make that decision, Mike, is it purely on who, assuming Ryan's healthy, is it purely on who's playing better right now, or do you take into account things like Ryan's track record or Will's potential, things like that as well?
Yeah, I think with any position, you look for, who gives you the best opportunity to win and where you're at and what's best for the football team. So, we'll have those conversations over the weekend. We'll see where Ryan's health is. We'll see where some different guys are as health, but we're always just trying to figure out, what gives us the best chance to win, what we can do to win a football game, especially one next week that's on the road.
All right, there you go. That was Mike Vrabel after the Steelers game. Still not willing to name Will Levis the starter, but like we said, Mike Vrabel's not going to make up his mind and is not going to make a decision any sooner, any earlier, and especially not publicly if he doesn't have to. Now, the Titans' unofficial depth chart has been released, and Ryan Tannehill is listed as QB1. Do we look too far into that? Because I don't really know if I can put too much into that, into an unofficial depth chart.
Well, I mean, so the Titans put out their depth chart today.
Unofficial.
And it named Ryan Tannehill as QB number 1. For one, this makes no damn sense. I'm not saying that Ryan Tannehill is QB1. It makes no damn sense to put out an unofficial, depth chart.
I think they have
essentially
to. Like per league rules.
I mean, even per league, it's just okay. So I'm trying to understand this. I really am. And maybe, Vrabel don't care. It's like I'll just throw out a depth chart just to appease the NFL. And hell, I should have put Malik Willis at the top. That's something that I believe Mike Vrabel would do.
Put Joe Rexrode as QB1 for all we care.
I think that's something that he would do. But in doing that, don't you potentially, feel it causes you to have to field more questions on, okay, well, if he says, he comes out and said Will Levis is the starter. Then people would look, well, why did you put out that unofficial
You know
depth
what his
chart?
response would be? I don't look too much into depth chart. It's just a formality. I don't care about depth
They
charts.
put it out there. I
We're on
didn't
to
really get a
Cincinnati.
chance to look at it. So I just, they put it out before. But it doesn't fly, I guess. But again, he does things his way, and you respect that and whatnot. But if you come back and say, well, Will Levis is our starter, then again, people are going to say, well, why did that depth chart come out there? Did you just throw that out there because you had to per league?
Yes.
Or did you at the time really mean that? But, it is what it is. I'm not going to look too much into that because to me, I just feel like once you get on that horse and start riding, and that horse is riding great, there's no need to turn back around, go in the stall, and get the next horse or get the previous horse. You ride with the horse, it's doing well, it's young. You go with it. You don't come back to the barn and get the old horse that's injured a little bit and start trying to take him up the mountain.
What, are you going to take him out back?
I don't want you to do that either. But, it's just one of these deals where, to me, getting back to the central question that you asked before we went to break, I think this is, thus far in his tenure, he's made a lot of decisions, some good, some not so good, but this is the biggest one because it deals with your quarterback and your future moving forward. You did it once with Ryan Tannehill. I think it was a little bit easier to do it then. But now you have to do it again as the head coach. And you got to get it right. You have to. So to me, this is the biggest decision that he has had to make since he's been the head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, it's a big decision because you have to find out if he can play. And the first impression is excellent. And that doesn't mean that he's arrived. There's probably going to be some growing pains, but I think what we all hope we're going to see, I think he's even exceeded that, right? I was hoping for some flashes, but he's been even more than that. I've been wowed, and that doesn't mean that he couldn't turn around and have a rough patch here. But I think at this point, it's time to find out what you've got, even if it means, that the team doesn't have huge success this year. We just talked about it a lot yesterday with the way that the AFC South is going, with the nature of the AFC. Look, like the Bengals are getting it together now, right? They were vulnerable early, and they didn't get buried, and now they now look like the team that we thought they were going to be. They're going to be a contender. It's a deep AFC right now, and this Titans team is still a middling team, and they have to see if they have a quarterback that not only can help them now, but also is the big picture guy. So it's an easy decision, but it's big. And now the mindset has to be, how do we support him?
Based off of what we saw from the Bengals against the Bills on Sunday, I am very pleased when the Titans got the Bengals on their schedule. But I think that there are four possible scenarios of what we could hear from Mike Vrabel in regards to the quarterback position today. First is Ryan Tannehill still hurt, which I think is probably likely. I think that's a realistic scenario. Like, you're only 2 weeks removed from Baltimore. A high ankle sprain, especially a sprain that you had last season that you had to get surgery on. And I know Ryan Tannehill said that it makes your ankle stronger and it makes recovery easier if you re-injure it. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not a doctor, but we're 2 weeks removed. So if Ryan still isn't good enough to go, we might hear that from Vrabel today. We might. The second scenario is we'll hear from Mike Vrabel that we're still going to evaluate the quarterbacks throughout the week. We're not willing to name a starter quite yet, which I think, knowing Vrabel and listening to as many Vrabel press conferences as we have through the years, that's also pretty likely that if Mike Vrabel doesn't have to name a starter, he is not going to. But I'm going to hold out hope. I'm going to hold out hope that he gives us at least some juicy tidbits. But there are two.
I think the pressing thing would be, do we know if Ryan Tannehill is physically going to practice this week? That's the first thing.
Right, and if he's good to go this week or not. I think that is one thing that we could hear from Mike Vrabel today. And look, if he's not out there practicing all this week, we're gonna see that. We're gonna
and he can delay. That allows him to delay the decision. He can just say, "Well, Ryan's not ready to practice yet."
And I think,
I don't think that's out of the question. By the way, I think there is a scenario where he's really not able to at least practice fully. Right? There's no reason to put him out there on one leg. Right? Like, and last year, they did have reason to want to put him out there on one leg because they didn't have an experienced backup of any kind. Now they're in a totally different position.
if they don't have to rush him back, why rush him back?
Exactly.
I'm sure he wants to rush back. But
well, rushing back it's not going to,
and they can't protect
do anything.
the quarterback.
Exactly.
That's
it's not
the
going to
tough
do
thing.
anything for him. Rush back to what? Get put back on the bench because of an injury? I mean,
It's a duck.
Yeah, it's to me, I understand from a competitive standpoint, Ryan Tannehill wanting to get back in there and wanting to fight back, fight for his job and prove to people that, he still can play this position at a level, a winning level. But realistically, again, you go back to just look at it for what it is. You are on a expiring contract. You're injured. Offensive line is not good. Why would you then want to subject yourself to more injuries going into the offseason? Because no matter what, you're going to be finding another place to play. And do you want to be rehabbing at the end of the year while trying to get another one of these 32 starting jobs? And there's only really maybe 10 of them out there, probably less than that. So do you want to go into the offseason rehabbing your way, back into playing shape to hopefully get a starting job at maybe 10 teams? Or do you want to go into the offseason healthy, being available if they need you, being a backup quarterback? He has to look at it from that standpoint. He's not getting any younger.
Yeah. And I think so. That's one of two of the scenarios that we could hear is one, Ryan's still injured. Two, we're not ready to say anything yet. I think both of those are likely. Another scenario, and I will role play and I will play my best Vrabel impression. We have evaluated and we feel like Ryan gives us the best chance to win. We thank Will for everything that he has done, but Ryan will be our quarterback moving forward. What would your reaction to that be?
Damn! That's what my reaction would be. Channeling my inner Florida Evans, okay? That's what it would be right there. So go ahead, Willie. That's what my reaction would be.
Oh, man. But by the way, I love that show. That's a great show. Good Times is the best. I would be stunned. I just don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to put that at about 1% that happens. My eyeballs would get really big. My jaw would drop.
I don't think it would happen either, but I also didn't think the Titans would fire John Robinson. So crazy things happen with this team in the NFL. The fourth scenario, and I will dive back into my Mike Vrabel impression. Will be our starter moving forward. We believe that he gives this team the best chance to win, and Ryan will continue to rehab and get back to 100%. Your reaction?
I think that would be the smart choice. I know you got to throw in Ryan will continue to rehab and all this other stuff. Yeah, I know.
Malik is still working to get better. We're going to continue to develop, and we're going to do what is best for the football team to win games.
Exactly. So I can understand.
And we're on
I
to
can see
Cincinnati.
him saying that. And basically what he's saying is Will is the future. And the future has started now. Ryan, we will use you if we need you. Meaning if this young guy goes down, with, I don't know, a pinky toe, or if his shoe come unlaced and he can't get enough underneath center, then we'll bring you in. Anything outside of that, nah, you ain't getting this job. It's not yours anymore. Give it back. took it from him.
Mine now.
Yeah, it's mine. Give it back. We let you borrow it for 5 years, 4.5, whatever it was. But again, I think that would be the best choice for the franchise, the best choice for that locker room, because it seems like they're, at least on offense, they're a little bit more spirited on offense because they feel now we have a healthy quarterback with a strong arm. We can do some things down the field that we possibly couldn't do with a hobbled Ryan Tannehill.
My reaction would be, good job, Mike. Good job. You made the right decision. Gold star for you. You did the right thing. Now, again, I don't know what we're going to hear from Mike Vrabel today. If I had to predict anything, if I had to look into my crystal ball, I would say he's going to give you as little information as possible. But I do think that not naming a quarterback is just as telling or maybe just as impactful as naming a quarterback this afternoon. So again, we will hear from Mike Vrabel at 1 p.m. We will carry that live and in its entirety right here on 102.5 The Game. We'll also chat with Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN NFL analyst, in just over 15 minutes. But before we get into that, let's get into some Preds thoughts coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Come on. Join Robbie and Rexroad for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's happening, everyone? Happy Tuesday to all the folks listening. But, man, I need you to listen very intently here, because I need to tell you about Cool Springs MD. Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and his wife, Daphne, along with that experienced and wonderful staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life. Cool Springs MD services have already helped many men of Brentwood, Nashville, including yours truly, and the surrounding areas in Tennessee with improving their immune systems, energy levels, cognitive functions, and more. They are there to connect you with the medical care you require to have a healthy and enriched life. So, there's no better time now to achieve a healthy lifestyle. Men, what are you waiting for? Come on now. Give Dr. Jeffrey Lodge at Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment. Here's the number. I know you got it already locked in your phone. If you don't, you need to right now. 615-486-3458. That's 615-486-3458. Or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
This is Chris Sanders, former wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. In football, sometimes we add new plays to the playbook to prepare for our next opponent. That's what boosters do to our immune system. They keep us game ready and our bodies healthy. I chose to get boosted and stay prepared and game ready. Make sure you're up to date on your shots. Talk to your doctor. Find out if you need to get boosted and make the decision about your health. Gear up, Tennessee. Go to vaccines.gov to find out where you can get boosted today.
Need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Willy Donick here. Listen up. You've got a ton of equity in your home, and Loan Pronto can help turn that equity into cash to put it to use. You can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards or pay off personal loans. Start the home improvement project you've been looking for. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact, so your 3% rate is protected. Call right now, 615-499-5780. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards. 615-499-5780 or go online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. It's getting colder quickly, and a lot of you are probably firing up the heater for the first time this season. If your system is older or having lots of issues keeping your home warm already, it's probably time for an HVAC replacement. There's no better time to replace your system than right now. Hiller is having their biggest sale ever on select HVAC systems. Get up to $2,600 off a new system until November 15th. This is the biggest discount they've had in years. That's Hiller. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Calling all sweet tooths. Head to Nashville Toffee Company, a place where rich, chocolatey daydreams are created from a secret family recipe generations in the making. Their toffees and candies are handcrafted in Nashville using all natural, kosher-certified ingredients. Sweet creamery butter, pure cane sugar, premium roasted nuts, deep rich chocolate, and sea salt. Visit NashvilleToffeeCompany.com or drop by their headquarters on Air Lane Drive for a positively hassle-free shopping experience. Whether you're buying for 1 or 100, Nashville Toffee Company is here to make your holiday gift giving easy.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
If it's important to Nashville,
I'll put it out right now.
It's important to Jared Stillman.
Like, that's it.
He's not afraid to ask the tough questions.
Something is going on, and the question is, what does it mean?
Or give the strong opinion.
And just needed the bozo offensive coordinator to stop ruining the quarterback.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Having some fun in the midday.
Okay, that's really fun.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
It's a good source of energy because it's live.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Blocker saved by Campbell. One-timer Carrier tipped wide by Nyquist. It comes back in front. Campbell covers it up. Puck's still alive on the near left side.
It did everything but go in.
Puck was never frozen. In the front, O'Reilly for the hat trick. Ryan O'Reilly with the hat trick. 5-2 Preds. 11:26 left in the third.
Ryan O'Reilly with a hat trick and a 5-2 win over the Edmonton Oilers over the weekend. Now the Predators turn around and take on the Edmonton's divisional rival in Calgary tonight. Puck drop at 8 o'clock, and of course we'll have all of your pregame coverage starting at 7 o'clock right here on 102.5 The Game. But man, that Pacific Division between Calgary, Edmonton, and San Jose. San Jose, who's still winless on the season. Brutal. But Willie, what are you looking for tonight?
Well, San Jose is in a category of their own right now, which is pretty stunning. Like it is not good at all for them.
Did you see?
They knew they were not going to. They knew they weren't going to be good, but they've been outscored by 43 goals already.
Man,
in 11 games. I mean, they've given up 10 a couple of times. I mean, it's just there's not being competitive and tanking, and then there's really not being competitive.
Are they playing without a goalie?
They're playing with a goal. You know, that is pretty crazy. But let's look at some of the other teams though that they've played on this road trip, because it's an interesting part of the story in the West right now. Mm-hmm. Vancouver continues to impress. They're 9-2-1. They've beaten the Predators twice. And before the season started, I would have said, okay, you know, Vancouver's a team that's kind of right with the Predators. A lot of question marks. Are they in the middle? Their best version could be something pretty good. Their worst version could be lottery kind of pick, you know. And the Canucks have been getting off to bad starts the last couple of years, but they've got a new coach in Rick Tocchet who took over last year and did some quiet things, but some good things. And now they've won 4 in a row. They're 9-2-1, and they look great. They've got the best goal differential in the West. They've outscored teams by 30, and they crushed the Oilers. You want to talk about a train wreck right now based on expectations. Like, at least the Sharks knew they were going to be bad.
Right.
Edmonton all of a sudden is sitting there at 2-8-1 looking for answers, and they had a total meltdown last night. Leon Draisaitl got a misconduct in the third period, had to sit out for 10 minutes. Connor McDavid's playing injured. He went to the penalty box in the third period at a key time, and then their coach got thrown out of the game midway through the third period. While their team was on the power play. So it was ugly. And now all of a sudden they've gone from being a favorite to win the Stanley Cup to, you know, just trying to keep the boat from sinking. And their coach is all of a sudden on the hot seat. That was unthinkable going in. And then
there
you
really
have
is
the
no
Flames.
excuse for Edmonton to be as bad as they have been through 11 games.
Do
we have Willie? Oh, no, he's frozen.
Yeah, I think Willie is, yeah.
That old Calgary
stuck in the
Wi-Fi.
Matrix.
I must say, it's that
He's in the Matrix.
Canadian
It's a
Wi-Fi.
glitch.
Canadian Wi-Fi.
It's a glitch, man, in the Matrix. So that's what Willie.
It is wild, though. Like, Edmonton, you have two of the best players in the sport. You bought at the trade deadline last year. Of course, sending Matthias Ekholm, the Predators sent Matthias Ekholm home to Edmonton. There's absolutely zero excuse for Edmonton to be struggling as much as they have. And it felt like a little bit of a moral victory for the Predators. And I don't like talking about moral victories because it sounds a little like losery to talk about moral victories, but it did feel like that win against Edmonton in regulation felt like a little weight off their shoulders. Like finally Leon Draisaitl, the guy who has had our number for so many years, we were finally able to take down.
Yeah, I think situations, like that, you take a win how you get
All
a
right,
win.
sorry about that.
Don't worry about it, Willie. We knew you were a glitch in the Matrix. Don't worry about that.
That old Calgarian Wi-Fi.
You had to get charged up again.
Was I frozen with a really dumb look on my face, or did I look intelligent when I got frozen?
Your tongue was out.
You had a very astute observation
was out,
incoming.
okay.
Yeah.
It's stunning that Edmonton's where they are. And so the talk up here, you can imagine what that talk is like, especially in Edmonton, but really all across Canada. That's a major, major story. And then you have the Flames, who the Predators are playing tonight. They were really struggling until Saturday. They got a nice win in Seattle. So they're a team that's sort of at a crossroads because they've got a new coach. They've got a new GM. They've got some players that they have to make a decision on. So a lot of people are calling for, if not a full rebuild, a retool. So if they're going to be competitive this year, they've got to make up some ground in a hurry. So there's some urgency here in Calgary. So this is a good test for the Predators here because this is not as intimidating a lineup as the Oilers. But, the Predators are looking for that consistency to try to put together some victories to go with some of the good things that they've been doing, because their theme all too often has been, hey, played pretty well, outshot the opponent, got a lot of chances, but
oh no.
Yeah.
There he goes again.
Didn't charge his phone, didn't charge his self all the way up.
Tongue out and everything, man. I mean, you can't make it up.
Dang.
I wonder if once the circle thing stopped going,
the rainbow wheel of death.
Once that stopped buffering for Willie, and maybe he can hear us. I wonder if he if this is something that he expected, like the Preds 5-6, and I think they're 5.
They're 5-6-0.
Yeah, 5-6-0. If you just look across the board, their point differential is 0. The last 10 games, they're 5-5. They won one more game at home. They lost, I think, 2 more games on the road. Is this what people expected from this team? Like, just a average team, but an average team that can, get better as the season go. That's the way I look at it, as a team that, a lot of young guys, some veterans mixed in, new head coach, so it's going to take a minute for everybody to really get settled into what they're doing. And right now they're essentially a 500 team, but a 500 team that I want to believe is getting better. But how long will it take them? Will it get better in time enough to make a push?
Yeah.
At the end.
And I don't know if we have Willy back or not, but I don't think that this would be a surprise if the Predators continued along a trend of being a mucky middle team, which is what the Predators kind of were last season. But it's a mucky middle that feels so much different than it did last year, because it's promising and it's hope of some young guys versus let's try and squeeze as much as we possibly can out of this core that we've had since the 2017 Cup run for the most part.
I think that's going to be the theme of the season. And I think there's a sense that they can be pretty good. What is pretty good? I don't know. But I think there's a sense that they can be better in terms of results than they've been so far if they can get some gains from the young players. I think the guy that I'm really looking at tonight is Juuso Parssinen. I think if you take a look, Novak, Evangelista, and Kiefer Sherwood have been pretty good as the second line. They've shown some good signs of being able to tell everybody, hey, it wasn't a fluke what we did last year as a group. They've done a nice job picking up where they left off, I think. Parsons the guy that's been very up and down. He's shown some signs of life these last couple of games. And to me, he's due for a big game. He's a critical guy. If they're going to get enough goals, right? I was on a show in Calgary this morning, and they were asking me, can this team score enough? Because if you look at their lineup, it doesn't just jump out at you a bunch of goal scorers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've got to get it from people that haven't really done it before. And so Parsons is a big part of that equation. I like how Forsberg's game's coming along. I think Yossi's game's coming along. Those guys you should be able to rely on over 82 games. If they're in there, they should produce. I think O'Reilly's, it's been all thumbs up with his addition. So it's up to a lot of those young guys to sort of pull the rope and contribute. If that falls into place, you just wonder, and I think that's what the fans' belief is. It'd be pretty exciting just to see what that looks like. What would that mean?
And quickly, Willie, before we get to Tim Hasselbeck and before you have to run with Pred's duties tonight, of course, Pred's in action tonight against Calgary, puck drop at 8 o'clock. Where's Tomasino? Like, is he slowly but surely becoming a guy, at least right now, that you can't count on, whether he's a healthy scratch or, if he's on the ice, not getting a whole lot of production?
It's a really good question. I think before the season started, we said that, look, they've got a lot of guys that are going to have a pathway to play. And Tomasino has not grabbed the reins, even though I think everybody to a man, including the coaches, thought he had a very good preseason, played well in the preseason. But for whatever reason, he just hasn't clicked. He's been in and out of the lineup. They gave him a chance on Saturday. I thought he had some flashes, had some good plays. It doesn't look like he's going to be in there tonight based on what they did at practice. Now, over at morning skate, maybe it'll be a different story. But, yeah, he's a guy that has not blossomed, and they've got to figure out what to do with him because they've got other game. They've got, for example, Cody Glass probably coming back fairly soon. Do they send him down to Milwaukee to try to get his confidence up? That's a possibility. So it's a good question. I don't know the answer right now. It's hard to put your finger on why he has struggled like he has, but he has been very inconsistent so far, and he's sort of fallen down the ladder a bit, and he's going to have to earn his way back.
Willie D, have a good call tonight. We'll chat with you tomorrow.
All right, sorry for the freeze. Hopefully I won't freeze up in the booth tonight.
Absolutely. You won't do that. The matrix doesn't extend to the booth.
Yeah, we'll have somebody turn you you off and back on.
We'll plug you in. Have somebody plug you in, get you fully charged.
Sounds good.
And we'll chat with ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight for Vanderbilt men's basketball. A little bit of Memorial Magic back in action. The Commodores will start their season tonight at Memorial Gym and face off against Presbyterian. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. with the pregame beginning at 6:30 p.m. Coverage is also available on 94.9 The Fan app and at 949thefan.com.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Teddy's Tavern, downtown's newest bar with an old Nashville feel, is conveniently located across the street from Bridgestone Arena and just blocks away from the pedestrian bridge. Get a taste of the new brunch menu to fuel your Titans Day pride on game day. Pre-game specials from 9 a.m. till kickoff when the Titans play at home include 2-for-1 draft beers, mimosas, and Bloody Marys. Teddy's Tavern is where you want to be before every Titans home game. So come downtown early and meet me at Teddy's.
When the festive bells ring and everyone gathers round, make sure your home's ready for it. From flickering lights to chilly nights to busted pipes, Lee Company is here to help. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, or any fix-up you need, we've got the experts ready. Head over to LeeCompany.com. That's LeeCompany.com. Remember, Lee Company, all you need so you can enjoy the holidays worry-free.
Hey, Doc, nice office. Quick question. If you had to choose, would you give yourself a root canal or run payroll?
Run payroll, no question.
Seriously? Well, have you run payroll before?
Paying my team with Gusto couldn't be easier. Gusto gives me unlimited payroll runs, next-day direct deposits, and automatically files my taxes. Saves me time.
Wow, that's nice.
Over here, Doc. Can I run payroll too?
Choose payroll without the pain. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Frazier. Yesterday, college basketball tipped off as the MTSU men's Blue Raiders took on Northern Kentucky. Standout player Cameron Weston scored 14 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals to help the Blue Raiders to an opening night win, 74-57. The Blue Raiders' next game is Thursday at 7 against Stephen F. Austin. Yesterday, Paul Kaharski reported that Tennessee Titans offensive lineman Nicholas Petit-Frere has injured his shoulder and will require surgery and most likely put him out the rest of the season. And as the MLB season wrapped up last week with the Texas Rangers winning the World Series, tonight it's the MLB Player Awards, as we will find out who is the best in the American League and National League. But tonight on the ice, there's more hockey action as the Nashville Predators finish up their road trip against the Calgary Flames in the Saddle Dome. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 with puck drop to follow at 8. I'm Nick Frazier, and you're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 1025 and 1063.
Checkered flag is in the air. Man, this is a win in the cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
Who is pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willy Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personality of all time.
On 1025 and 1063, The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 1025, 1063, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. We are live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios, and we are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. We'll hear from Mike Vrabel at the podium in 1 hour. We will carry that live and in its entirety right here on 1025, The Game. But joining us now is ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck. Tim, always appreciate our weekly sit-downs with you, and we appreciate your time. What was your evaluation of Will Levis in Pittsburgh on Thursday?
Well, I thought he competed well. I thought, I think last week we talked about, after his first start, what were the reactions? And, I probably was saying, look, a little caution, like it's, one game before everybody is like, yep, we got the future. Let's go ahead and move on. And so I thought he actually, the end result wasn't what everybody wanted, and it wasn't perfect, but I think there definitely were moments where you saw really good things, and it was like, all right, that's encouraging, like especially off of last week, like certainly something you can build on. And I would say this too, I think sometimes, what's interesting in quarterback evaluations is, we look at how somebody throws the football, and when guys do their workouts, sometimes it's really obvious. Like, just use Zach Wilson as the example. Like Zach Wilson in a shorts and t-shirt workout, like it's really impressive how he can throw the football. And I think that Will Levis, you could say, this is something similar to him. But how it actually shows up in real football, I think matters a lot. And I think for Will Levis, I think it's shown up. His talent to throw the football has showed up in like real football which is clearly more important than just throwing in shorts and T-shirt. But it doesn't always happen. So I think in terms of that's been a good thing. I just in terms of for how he's played and what it maybe looks like for him going forward.
And another thing that we've observed, not just in the first game, but in the second game as well, the poise that Will Levis plays with. His ability to escape pressure. Maybe he gets smacked in the mouth, which happened a good bit of times against the Steelers on Thursday night, but he was able to still get back up and continue to make plays. That was one thing that impressed me in addition to the arm strength.
I think for any quarterback, I mean, listen, it's there's no question it's kind of a glamour position, but saying all of that, just look at the top guys playing the position. Like, if you were to say, all right, list like qualities that they have, all of them are tough, all of them. So, okay, if you're talking about Tua, you think about what that guy's been through, the fact that he's still out there kind of fighting the way that he is. How about somebody like Jared Goff, who, essentially was traded away to get rid of his contract, and I'm talking mentally and physically tough, whether it's Lamar Jackson, whether it's Matthew Stafford, whether it's, Aaron Rodgers. You look at what he's doing. Jalen Hurts clearly, kind of dealing with, his knee. Or I'll give you even another one. Someone like Daniel Jones. Like, Daniel Jones tears his ACL. Like, I think he tries to stay in the game and play another play. So I just think that, you have to have that stuff. And there's definitely been a grittiness and a toughness to be appreciated, so far from what we've seen from Levis.
I 100% agree. Do you think Will Levis, in your opinion, gives the Titans a better chance to win football games than Ryan Tannehill does?
I think it's fair to say right now that, yeah, you could say that. And even if it was in Ryan's contract, which, is essentially it's out at the end of this year, and the fact that you would have a young quarterback on a rookie salary. I think that, look, 1 week it was like, okay, like, you've got our attention. 2 weeks, it's like, all right, now you really have our attention. And so, look, he's going to get some more opportunities, to kind of prove that that's the case. So, okay. I think the Buccaneers are a very beatable team. Obviously, you saw what happened to him this last weekend. And so he plays well and they win. I think it's fair at that point to say, look, we need to give this like a real go to figure out if this is in fact what we're doing.
Now, we're talking with Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN NFL analyst. Tim, Caroline brought up the question earlier in the show. Is this, at least for Mike Vrabel in his tenure here so far, is this the biggest decision that he has had to make up until this point? Now, it was a big decision to go from Mariota to Ryan Tannehill. It seemed to have worked, but I get it. They didn't accomplish what they wanted to. But I think Ryan kept, along with Derrick Henry, kept this franchise relevant, kept them in the forefront and kept the fans excited about their play. A.J. Brown was another decision, but that probably solely wasn't on him. This decision right here, I think, and tell me if you're thinking the same way. This decision right here has implications on the future moving forward, the next 5, 10, 15 years. So to me, this decision has to be the right decision, and it has to be made with conviction. Like, this is whoever we're going with. This is our guy for the remainder of the season, and if it's Will, then this is our guy moving forward, period.
Yeah, I would say this, okay? And I'm glad you brought up the scenarios. So, look, you probably say John Robinson's responsible for the signing of Ryan Tannehill. But the decision to make the move from Mariota to Tannehill was Mike Vrabel's. And he should get the credit for that. And did the Titans won a Super Bowl? No. But to your point, like, that was the right move. 100%. Like, I don't even think it's debatable. And look, Ryan was rewarded for it. I think the team with some of the success was rewarded for it. And so that was a great decision, and probably the biggest at the time by Mike Vrabel. So he should get the credit for that. Like, he's not, certainly not batting 1,000, but he's certainly not, batting 0 either. So, and then I think you can kind of look, the A.J. Brown thing, I think we all believe that was not his decision. I think the Derrick Henry thing, while he probably wanted Derrick Henry, in terms of re-signing him, well, he was probably a part of it. That probably also was a John Robinson decision. And so I think that this is the next big one, and it's the biggest one now because everyone's going to forget about the decision to go with Ryan Tannehill instead of Marcus Mariota. Like, everyone's like, until you bring it up, D-Mase, like, everyone's like, no, he's just our quarterback. Like, it's just, that's how it works. And so he now is like, yeah, like, this is the biggest decision. And I think in some ways, because of the age of Will Levis, the contract situation with Will Levis, and what the rest of the AFC looks like, yeah, like, this is the biggest now, and it will be the one that probably dictates the future of the franchise under his leadership.
Now, Tim, do you believe the Titans, they have 8 games remaining, 8-9, I believe, games remaining, and, they have, 5 of them at home, 4 on the road. They've been a really good home team. On the road is a different story. The way that the AFC South is starting to align itself, take away Jacksonville because, to me, Jacksonville seems like as good as Houston's playing with their young quarterback, I think Jacksonville has separated themselves somewhat from everybody else. But looking at those 3 teams, because essentially the rest of the 3 teams, if Richardson doesn't get hurt, they're essentially starting rookie quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the Titans fit? Do you believe they can make a run at least to finish in that second spot? And you never know because of the way these other divisions are beating each other up. You may be able to slip in there with 10 wins.
Yeah, 9 potentially, right? I mean, like so here's what I would say. And, I don't want to be prisoner of the moment of what C.J. Stroud did this last weekend. But I do think in fairness to C.J. Stroud, you just look at his touchdown-interception ratio. I mean, it's remarkable. Remarkable. So, the beginning part of the year, I felt like he was just not turning the football over, but they weren't really getting big plays. That's clearly changed. So, where do I feel like they fit in? I think a lot of it comes down to the quarterback play. I mean, because I do think Jacksonville is the better team, than everybody else in the division. I do feel that way. And they don't always play like it, but I think that's just part of the NFL. Then I would actually say, I think Houston, if the quarterback is going to be on fire like this, then I think that separates them. But look, we've only seen 2 games of Will Levis, so look, I probably shouldn't write him off either. I mean, it's crazy, but I guess I would say this in terms of all that, D-Mase. I think when the Titans end up getting the Texans, because let's say it comes down to, it looks like the 2 games in December, against Houston. I think the Titans would have preferred to have one of those games in September than having them in December because there seems to be a belief. I think DeMeco Ryans is doing a good job of coaching them. I think the players are enjoying playing for him. I think the defense is getting better because of him. And then the quarterback playing well. They're going to be a better December than September team.
Now, what do you make of what has come out in regards to Mike Vrabel being connected to the New England Patriots, what Kraft said? It's been reported by, Boston. I think it was in the Boston Globe. Was it the Boston Globe? Yeah, Boston Globe.
Ben Volen.
Yeah. So do you take that with a grain of salt? How do you look at that? Do you think this is a team that, meaning New England, that is really serious about, even though there was a report that came out that, Bill Belichick signed a extension or a lucrative contract, but no one knows the numbers nor the years. Is there anything to that, you believe, in regards to Vrabel, New England, Kraft wanting that being his splash hire if he could have it?
Yeah, here's I guess what I would say about that. I do feel like, I mean, listen, Ben Volen's been, covering the Patriots for a long time. Like, I'm guessing that this stuff doesn't just come out of thin air. Giving guys the benefit of the doubt on their reporting, especially, when it's not just somebody that's, just kind of throwing some out there on like a random podcast or something, right? So I do think that you have to give it a little attention because of that. I think, listen, even great coaches sometimes need a change. Look at Andy Reid. Mm-hmm. He's obviously experienced a ton of success in Kansas City. Like, he was very close to a ton of success in Philadelphia. And I think that he would maybe say it's been a good thing. So I don't think it's crazy to think that Bill Belichick might even say, look, doing it somewhere else would be okay. Or that Robert Kraft might say, look, I love him and I love what he's done for our organization, but it's okay to do something different. Like, I do own the team. So, and then I do believe that there are guys that are part of the Patriots' remarkable runs that aren't just guys that were a part of it, that mean more to it. Tom Brady obviously would be one of those guys. I think Teddy Bruschi be one of those guys. I think Mike Vrabel is one of those guys. And, I think guys like Dante Scarnecchia, who coached the offensive line, one of those guys. So I think that, I don't say like where there's smoke, where there's fire, but to say, could that be legit? I very much think that could be legit.
ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck is with us. What do you make of Mike Vrabel as a coach and the job that he's done over the past couple of seasons in Tennessee?
Look, I think that he's done a great job. I mean, I might be in the minority in saying that, but look, he took over and the team didn't have a quarterback. Then he found a quarterback and found ways to do it that were different than the rest of the league. And I think in terms of game management stuff, for somebody that, doesn't have 20 years under his belt as a head coach, I think he's been remarkably good at game management stuff. I think the players have responded well to him. And I think that, look, he's on a team where, for whatever the reasons were, the guy who's maybe the first or second best receiver in the game got traded away. And that really hurt the offensive production. So I think he's done a great job. And, and I think that I think there are a lot of teams that would like to have him. Now, sometimes you can be a great coach and it just doesn't work out there. Actually, I was having this conversation with the athletic director this past weekend, the game I called, and just kind of talking about a different sport than football, of like, sometimes you have a great coach and it just didn't work out. And so I think sometimes that can be the case. And I think that if he were available, sometimes I judge it on this. If he were available, would he be out of work long? And the answer is no.
Yeah, I think Titan fans are starting to wear a little bit thin on them.
A little Vrabel fatigue, if you will.
Yeah, a little Vrabel fatigue.
No, but listen, that's fair. And I get that. Mm-hmm. But just being real, if well, here you go. If Michigan State was interested, like if he was available, would Michigan State be interested?
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
Of course they would be. Look, if
I'll drive him down there. Matter of fact,
listen, I'm
up there.
You,
excuse me.
Right. So look at, all right. Here we go. Tampa Bay. If they make a move, is Tampa Bay going to be interested in him? Of course they are. If the Chargers, if they make a move, would he be interviewed for that? Absolutely, he would be. So I think sometimes you just got to say, look, and it doesn't mean that it has to work out where he is. I mean, it just said Belichick could end up somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But look, maybe it is the fatigue. But if the question is, should this guy be an NFL head coach? Should this guy be a head coach somewhere? Is he the type of leader that organizations are looking for? The answer is yes across the board.
Now, before we get you out of here, Tim, two teams that I just don't know what to think of them. Buffalo and the Miami Dolphins. Ironically, they're both in the same division. Miami sits the top division at 6-3. Buffalo's 5-4. And Jets fans, even though they play, it was ugly yesterday. They didn't win. They still have hope because Aaron Rodgers was throwing the football, 3-step drop. So they figure if these two teams continue to lose, we are right there. But with that being said, what do you make of Miami and Buffalo? Because Miami all the talent in the world, but again, if you can't win the big games against the tougher competition, it all means nothing. And then Buffalo, they always find a way to Buffalo. We talk about the Chargers and what they do at end of games or during games. Buffalo sometimes does the exact same thing, and they end up losing themselves the game.
Here's what I would say. I think that Miami is better than Buffalo everywhere but quarterback. And so conversely, I think Buffalo's better at quarterback, but not as good everywhere else. Okay? I believe that when you look at Miami, there's enough to like about their team, the way they run the football, how much speed they have, how they play on defense. Look, Vic Fangio, to me, I think does a really good job. And so anyway, there are a lot of things that I like about them. When I look at Buffalo, the thing that frustrates the heck out of me, I think for the majority of that game, D-Mase, the other night, they called 4 runs for someone other than Josh Allen. I think at the end of the night, they maybe end up calling 8 rushes for the combination of their backs. But that's not real to me, because what happens is it's so dependent on one guy being unbelievable. And the minute that he isn't totally perfect, like he wasn't the other night, throws a pick early in the game, and then they had a couple drops, and next thing you know, they look so average. So to me, I trust Miami way more. But then in saying that, look, if Tua I don't know what happened. It's gotten very little attention, in my opinion. It's 3rd and 10 at the end of the game.
Yeah, what was that?
Decent throw. I mean, listen, if that were a grenade, no one would have died. That was a terrible throw.
Where was he? It was was he just trying to throw it away, or was he expecting a guy? I don't know what that pass was.
I had a conversation. Somebody was like, "Oh, they thought the guy was going to run a different route." I was like, "What route?" Because you don't throw a football like that on any route that exists that I know of. It doesn't exist. I think he underthrew him by 9 yards. That's what I think happened. That's the part for me where I'm like, look, I've seen Josh Allen deliver in big moments and stuff. I think it's more about their team. Can you run the football? Can you rush the passer? All the things that we thought they were going to be able to do that they just can't do. You know what? Here's what I would say for them. And maybe they're waiting for Leonard Fournette to do it. But the Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, those teams needed to be in the Dalvin Cook business. And look, the fact that Leonard Fournette is in Buffalo, maybe they're waiting on playoff Lenny so that they can run the football when they need to. But I just feel like you need to have that be part of what you can do.
I have to give D-Mase a lot of credit because he has been the CEO and president of the Bills Aren't an Elite Team Club. And I think we're starting to see that come to fruition over the past few games, if not the beginning of this season. But Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN...
That's just because he's so negative, though.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Let's just be real. He's like Benny from the Bronx. Always complaining.
The face of negativity. Derek Mason over here. But Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN NFL analyst. Tim, appreciate your time.
Thanks, Tim. Yep.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. All right, coming up next, we'll react to what Tim had to say there, plus some developments from the Boston Globe. Dun, dun, dun. We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, we are brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet.
Predators Brewhouse fans, Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue, and Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue are 102.5 the game's official home for Predators watch parties. Catch all the games at Brewhouse and enjoy great specials on Blue Note Bourbon and Black Abbey Beer. We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Moving can be stressful, but it does not have to be. Caroline Fenton here from my friends over at Black Tie Moving, and their trained and dedicated team is there to ensure that they take the stress out of the process. When you choose Black Tie Moving, you are going to get a highly awarded Inc. 500 company. But take my word for it, because I moved with Black Tie Moving over the summer, and it was the easiest, most stress-free moving experience that I have ever had. From the very beginning, when I had a phone call with a local professional moving consultant, they were open and honest and completely transparent about everything that I could expect. And what I got was great customer service. So visit blacktiemoving.com or call 615-437-8401. That is 615-437-8401. And be sure to mention the promo code GAME, G-A-M-E, to score 10% off of your next move. And then sit back and enjoy the best move of your life.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening. November 17th through 19th, our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one, the one where they break all the rules. Plus, Genesis selection is nearly double, with designers flying in their entire collections, all on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes included. Lab-grown diamonds on sale too. Save up to 35% and get zero interest financing. November 17th through 19th at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
Experience the thrill of gaming glory at Harrah's Casino and Hotel, just a little over 2 hours northwest of Nashville off I-24. Call 1-800-HARRAHS and reserve your room today to indulge in top-tier casino gaming, appetizing dining experiences, and their cutting-edge sports book. As a Caesar Rewards destination, every moment you spend at Harrah's Metropolis earns you points across the entire Caesars empire. It's your time to win with Harrah's Metropolis. Must be 21 or older to gamble. No one to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
Nashville's Best Deals is a great place to save cash fast. Get up to half off or more on dining and entertainment at thegamenashville.com/deals. Check back often for new featured deals and save money now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit could get you $20, $50, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Willy Donick here. Listen up. You've got a ton of equity in your home, and Loan Pronto can help turn that equity into cash to put it to use. You can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards or pay off personal loans. Start the home improvement project you've been looking for. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact, so your 3% rate is protected. Call right now. 615-499-5780. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards. 615-499-5780 or go online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Whether you drink it neat, in a cocktail, or like our boys at Bridgestone, on ice, Blue Note Bourbon hits all the right notes. From the ever-popular Blue Note Juke Joint to our fabled Blue Note Crossroads. It doesn't matter if you're watching the Preds at a bar or just hanging at home. Our double gold medal winning, hand-bottled, straight bourbon whiskey always sounds like a good time is about to be had. Blue Note Bourbon. Take note. Sip responsibly.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of two, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to the Tennessee Men's Clinic in Franklin. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough about them. Their providers took care of me, followed up, and made sure I had a treatment plan that actually works. It's awesome. If I were you, and you're like me, I'd give them a call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. If you're like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments extra. Results vary.
Vanderbilt football lives here.
This Saturday, it's Vanderbilt and South Carolina from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. Kickoff at 11 a.m. Our coverage starts at 9:30.
Your home for the Commodores is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Smashville, this is Andrew Burnett, and you're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Do you think Will Levis, in your opinion, gives the Titans a better chance to win football games than Ryan Tannehill does?
I think it's fair to say right now, yeah, you could say that. And even if it was close, Ryan coming off of an injury and then factoring in Ryan's contract, which, is essentially it's out at the end of this year, and the fact that you would have a young quarterback on a rookie salary. I think that, 1 week it was like, okay, like you've got our attention. 2 weeks, it's like, all right, now you really have our attention. And so he's going to get some more opportunities, to kind of prove that that's the case. So, I think the Buccaneers are a very beatable team. Obviously, you saw what happened to them this last weekend. And so he plays well and they win. I think it's fair at that point to say, look, we need to give this like a real go to figure out if this is in fact what we're doing.
There go those ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck saying, hey, yeah, I mean, why not give it a go? And Tim says if he plays well against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday, why not continue riding him? But I say continue riding him now. I say win or lose on Thursday night against the Steelers, because that was going to be a tough game to win no matter what. Win or lose, depending on how he looks, you should continue to ride with Will Levis. He showed me enough on Thursday. So especially if you can beat the Buccaneers, and especially if he looks good against the Buccaneers on Sunday, you got to keep riding the young guy. You have to keep riding what's helping your team win football games.
Well, I expect him to look good against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are horrible on defense. They are one of the top teams in regards to takeaways, yes. I think they're double-digit plus, if I recall, but they're in the top 5 as far as, turnover differentials in the NFL.
And I want to know, I'll look at Tampa Bay's schedule. How many of those were forced turnovers?
Yeah.
Because, Desmond Ridder is a turnover machine. I don't really know how many, of Desmond Ritter's fumbles have been forced fumbles. They've played tough teams on their schedule, but, the Bears. How many of those takeaways were really forced and how many of them are just, you're playing a not so great team. But fair point.
Yeah.
Point taken.
Tampa's, team as a whole, their offense is right below the Titans. But their defense is, Titans from a statistical standpoint have a better defense. But when you watch both teams, they're both not good when it comes to just stopping teams and whatnot. But, I expect him to have a good game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it would, to me, just further validate, Will Levis as your future quarterback. Now, Vrabel hasn't made the decision yet, and we understand it. He came out with this unofficial depth chart that listed Ryan Tannehill as the starter. I wonder where did it list Levis, because
Levis 2, Willis 3.
Okay. Well, I wonder if it was just like, here, take this.
Copy, paste from
take it.
However long ago, take it.
Absolutely. But, do I expect that to be the case? I don't. But, stranger things have happened at this with this organization over the last couple of years, so you never know.
If he's not willing to name a quarterback today, why? Why do you think that is?
I do believe, I have to believe it's out of respect for Ryan Tannehill because
But you're going to have to name a quarterback at some point.
I know, and then it's all strategic. They don't know who our quarterback, but if you're Tampa, you're preparing for Will Levis. You're preparing for Will Levis, and you're praying that Ryan Tannehill plays because he can't move.
Right.
So you're preparing for Will Levis, but you're like, man,
and he doesn't have the arm Will Levis has.
Yeah, we hope Ryan Tannehill does play in this game because then advantage us on defense because he can't move around. But I would tend to think one, the respect for Ryan Tannehill. Two, he only threw out a depth chart because per the NFL rules, you got to throw something out there. You got to put something out there. I just think third is, is he still sort of holding on to hope that, this team with Ryan Tannehill underneath center can make a magical run and find themselves in the playoffs? I'm not sure.
What would the point of holding on to that hope be?
It's Vrabel. It's Vrabel. And, but you do, okay. Even with saying all that, I think I would tend to believe, this is what I want to believe, because Mike Vrabel played in this league so long, because he's seen, veteran guys get cut, veteran guys, lose their job, not because necessarily they can't play anymore, but because you got this young guy, you want to see this young guy, whatever. So to me, he's seen enough of that he said, you know what? That's not going to be the way I handle this situation. I might end up naming Will Levis starting quarterback, but because of so much that I've seen as a player and a coach, that on this one, I'm going to allow my player, hat to be on in regards to, I'm just going to wait. More than likely, 99.9%, it's going to be Will Levis. But I'm going to give Ryan Tannehill that respect to wait until I have to put out a depth chart, official depth chart. Again, he may say it at the press conference the day at 1. But if he doesn't say it, to me, it still doesn't tell me that Will Levis will not be the quarterback. I would be surprised if he's not.
I'll be disappointed if he's not.
That too.
I'll be looking at that, like you said, that you were going to make the decision that is best for the football team. And we've seen, and it's 2 games. I know it's a 2-game sample size. I understand that that's ideally for Will Levis's sake, hopefully a minuscule, teeny tiny sample size of what his career is going to be. I understand that. But through 2 games, I think we can all agree, Will Levis gives you the best opportunity to win.
Yeah, it gives you the best opportunity to win. I think the offense looks more energetic when he's out there.
There's life breathed into this team.
It's just, it's just something different with Will Levis out there. And if you want to do what's best for the team, in our eyes, like the fans' eyes, my eyes, yours, Willie, whatever, it would be leave Will Levis in there. Let him play it out.
From your perspective as a player, like put yourself in that locker room. What would your reaction be if Mike Vrabel decided to go back to Ryan Tannehill?
I wouldn't like it. I would understand it. I wouldn't sit here and be, in an uproar and cursing, Mike Vrabel. That tells me he's wearing his player's hat and a coach hat brim to the back. They're both on, but I got one facing you and the other facing backwards. So I wouldn't agree with it, but as a former player, I would understand it. That's not saying that I believe that's the right choice, but I would understand the choice. Coming, seeing what I've seen, been in those meetings, been in those locker rooms, watching guys get cut and all this stuff happen, I would understand why he did it. I wouldn't necessarily agree with it, but I would understand why. Because, again, to me...
What is the why?
The why would be he's a veteran guy. He put put so much into help getting this organization back to where it was respectable. We were winning, and we were winning at a high clip. He didn't come in here, I need to be the starter, this and that. He played his role. He did exactly what they wanted him to do. He helped out the young quarterback when that young quarterback was still underneath center. He did all the right things. And then when he got his opportunity, he took it and he ran with it. He allowed your franchise to go from being a, borderline playoff team and barely, even though you won games with Malarkey in the playoffs, and I'm not going to diminish that whatsoever, because Malarkey did a good job at stabilizing things until Vrabel took over. But, Ryan, he did everything you asked him to do. And when you do everything the right way, even though, at the end, it may be your time to kind of move over to the side and let that younger guy come in, you still got to show a level of respect to the guy. Even though you're going to make that switch, you still got to, do it. You still have a level of respect and try to do it. Mike, to me, wants to do things the right way, especially when it comes to players, because he understands he's probably been in places where they didn't do the right thing with that particular player. So he doesn't want, he's seen the New England Patriots cut really good player after really good player after really good player. And he's
cutthroat.
Exactly. And he's like, I don't want it to be that way. Now, I will have to cut guys. That's just the way it is. But in this situation, I don't want to go down that road. I want to give him enough time to, do what he needs to do, get himself ready. But I know ultimately the decision that I got to make is to go with the younger quarterback.
The process, I understand. The decision, it's got to be the same.
Yeah, I get it. The decision for me is to go with the young quarterback because, again, in 2 games, I've said this, and I'm going to continue to say it. There's nothing. I knew he had a strong arm. I knew that. Everybody in the football world knew he had a strong arm.
Everyone in the football world even thought he had maybe too strong of an arm.
Exactly. Calm down on the weight.
A little beefy.
Absolutely. So we knew that. We knew he can throw the ball across the yard, whatever. What we didn't know was the poise. Would he have the poise to stand in the pocket at the NFL level and get knocked down a few times, get back up? He's shown it in 2 games. He's shown that he didn't let that Pittsburgh Steelers vaunted defense, even though they're not the same, they were good the other night. He didn't let that rattle him. He got up, kept throwing the football, running that offense. That means a lot. Guys don't show that. Yeah, that's something you can't, again, that's something I can't teach you. I can't teach you that.
You got it or you don't.
You got it or you don't.
We'll hear from Mike Vrabel in 15 minutes, and we'll hear from you coming up next. We'll get into your phones, your calls, your texts, 615-737-1025. What you want to hear from Mike Vrabel when he speaks with the media in 15 minutes. Join Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and D-Mase at Twin Peaks in Madison this Sunday from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. for our NFL pregame show. They'll break down the Titans' Week 10 matchup against the Bucs and give you the latest updates before the game. Our NFL pregame show is presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Beast Unleashed.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, live and local from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. When you want the national
Hey. I got this. I'll take it from here.
Okay, go ahead. Dying to hear this.
We have the best national voices that you'll find anywhere.
Who was more deserving of being thrown from their game?
I'm odd, so I get the odd picks.
They have a new coaching staff.
It's not a bad scenario for them.
We are 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
And 94.9 The Fan.
What's going on, Nashville? Listen, over the last, 3-4 months, you've heard me talk a lot about Zen Sports, the new sports betting app exclusively in Tennessee the last few months, 3-4 months. And I'm excited to share with you some big news. This is huge news, people. Now, when you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you will receive up to $1,000 no danger first wager. That's right. When you place your first bet with Zen Sports, you can be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to a $1,000 maximum if that bet loses. And there's even more good news, people. Zen Sports is rolling out its brand new VIP rewards program. This new VIP rewards program will allow top-tier customers to earn more bonuses, comps, and perks. And who doesn't like perks, comps, and bonuses? The VIP program is by invite only. So you just can't just walk up in there willy-nilly on the website and claim you're an invite, a VIP person. You got to have an invite. So if you feel that your Zen Sports play qualifies for VIP consideration, please check out the program details and apply at zensports.com/VIP. No other sportsbook will offer a premier sporting betting experience with a 24/7 top-tier customer support and faster withdrawals like Zen Sports. So what are you waiting for? Get going and download this app at zensports.com today. Zen Sports. Betting just got better, people. Gambling problems, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 years or older to bet here in Tennessee.
My foster parents didn't just teach me to fish. They taught me that persistence and patience pay off. They didn't just teach me to bake the perfect birthday cake. They also taught me to measure and meet my own potential. They didn't just teach me to garden. They taught me to plant seeds and watch them grow. And they didn't just teach me to walk. They taught me to stand on my own 2 feet. Foster a child and change their future. Visit youthvillages.org/foster.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
No problem, sweetie.
I can't believe you're able to fit everything in that little sedan.
When they move out, you can move on to a house that fits your life. It's time to live in a space that fits your family.
Let Regal Realty Group get you into a home that is less to take care of. Save money or even make money on the sale of your current home. Get more info at regalrg.com.
The Parker Store at 1909 Nolensville Road in Nashville is the Parker Factory Authorized Store for your Parker hydraulic, pneumatic, water, and chemical hose needs. They stock metric tubing and hose connections to 42 millimeters in size, and they'll fabricate while you wait up to 6,000 PSI hydraulic hoses in a 2-inch size. Call the Parker Store at 615-248-8245 for all the Parker requirements you have. The Parker Store, 1909 Nolensville Road.
This year, celebrate with your loved ones at Kitchen Notes inside the Omni Nashville Hotel. Enjoy Southern farm to table dishes with an elegant touch that is only available from the Omni Nashville Hotel. Start with citrus poached shrimp and cocktail crab claws, then move quickly to the main menu featuring herb roast turkey and smoked prime rib. Plus, indulge in a variety of sides and breakfast items. Enjoy Thanksgiving with your friends and family at Kitchen Notes inside the Omni Nashville Hotel from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Make your reservation now at opentable.com.
It's time to celebrate this fall and unleash the beast. Monster Brewing proudly presents to you Beast Unleashed. 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, all the adult beverage fun. The Beast is unleashed with great taste, bold familiar flavors, and 6% alcohol. Go wild with Mean Green, White Haze, Peach Perfect, and Scary Berries. Don't fear the Beast. Enjoy Beast Unleashed at your next tailgate or football party. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 and over.
They're homegrown in Nashville, discussing the biggest topics in the SEC.
The fans are going to want the rivalries to stick around. They've lost to Alabama every year.
The NFL.
What if all the top 3 quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3? You've got to draft your guy at 2.
And anything in between.
From thinking we know everything to then forgetting about everything we thought we knew the day before.
They're Jonathan Hutton and Chad Withrow on Outkick's Hot Mic.
Out of the gates, ready to go.
Weekdays from 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app. Having some fun in the midday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Make your silly underdog picks for your chance to win weekly prizes. You can play at thegamenashville.com or the 1025 The Game app as we approach week 11 of college football and week 10 of the NFL. Silly Underdog Picks is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. We will hear from Mike Vrabel in 10 minutes, but before we hear from Mike Vrabel, want to hear your thoughts. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. One texter texts in, says, with Levis, the Titans have nothing to lose. Let's take it one game at a time and see what happens the rest of the season and let it develop and how the offseason goes along.
With Levis, they have nothing to lose. Yeah, you do. You have games, but I don't think he's going to lose many games. It's just, to me, if he continues on this path that he's going, if the defense plays, the front plays the way they are supposed to be playing, the record may look a little bit different at the end. I think it may end up with a winning record. Not to say they're going to the playoffs, but it may end up as a winning record. So having a winning record, going into the offseason, you know what happens? Everybody feels great.
Yeah.
Everybody feels great. Why? Because the young quarterback was leading the way in all of this. So I understand, what the texter's saying, you have nothing to lose. I get that. But, yeah, you do have something to lose, games. If you go into the offseason winning more games than not, but you don't make the playoffs, okay, we want to make the playoffs, but we ended this thing good. Now everybody's feeling good about next season and what we have underneath center.
That's kind of what drives me crazy about when fans say, well, let's just go ahead and tank and get a better draft position. No, these games matter.
Yeah.
Like, these games mean something.
It means something for the psyche of the players.
It's not just Super Bowl or first overall pick. Like, there is very much so an important middle of between not being terrible or being terrible and being the best team in the league. One texter texts in, says, I don't think Mike Vrabel ever wanted to start Will Levis in the first place. This team is not going to the playoffs with either one of those quarterbacks behind this line. If Will Levis tears his ACL, we are going to wish that we saved him this year and played Tannehill. Now, I would probably agree that I don't think Mike Vrabel wanted to play Will Levis in the first place. But it's not like they put Will Levis in there because they just decided to do that one day because they thought that it would be fun. Ryan Tannehill got hurt. It made the most sense to just go ahead and see what you had in Will Levis.
Yeah, this whole notion of, well, don't play Will Levis because, he may get hurt.
I'm terrified of that.
Okay, take that and apply that to something else. Apply that to Little League. Apply that to high school football. Apply that to college football. It doesn't work like that in the NFL. It doesn't. If the guy's ready to play, you let him play. Every play is a play that you can be hurt, whether you have a really good line or a crappy line. Jalen Hurts got a really good line. He got hurt the other night, and it looked bad at first. Somebody fell on his knee. So you can't play this game saying, oh, man, somebody might get hurt. No, you can't. That means don't put Derrick Henry back out there, okay? Don't put DeAndre Hopkins back out there, okay? Don't put Tajay Spears back out there. Don't put none of those guys that you are going to depend on possibly next year. Don't put them out there because the offensive line stinks.
Offensive line does stink.
They're not yet. They're not good. They can get better, but it's going to take other players coming in and taking. I'm saying it's going to take the offseason where other players come in, move some players aside, allow some other players, true starters, to be in there. Those five guys that are playing, with the exception of Peter, they're all capable of playing in the NFL, but they're not starters.
But they're your starters.
So.
All right, we'll hear from Mike Vrabel coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 1025, 1063 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Predators fans, Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue, and Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue are 1025 The Game's official home for Predators watch parties. Catch all the games at Brewhouse and enjoy great specials on Blue Note Bourbon and Black Abbey beer.
Yo, check this out.
Ah, Pourvu. Imagine a wonderland, vast as the eye can see. We're talking a whopping 10,000 square feet, stocked with wine, spirits, and over 1,500 beers from around the globe. And if that's not enough, they've got you covered with a massive horde of ready-to-guzzle cocktails like High Noon.
Well, saddle up, partner. It's Pourvu, the adult equivalent of a candy store. Open from 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and from 10 to 6 on Sundays, too. Not leaving your sofa during the next big game? No worries, my jersey-wearing couch potato. You can place your orders at pourvu.us or download their super snazzy app.
Just picture hockey night. He shoots, he scores, we toast.
We're talking about a good old round of tequila shots, of course.
Tequila!
Pourvu has it all. Tequila is always a big hit, just like Uncle Frank at the family parties.
Wine, spirits, beers, mixers, barware, gifts, party supplies, and more.
Curbside pickup at absolutely zero charge, mind you, and home delivery.
Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, just off Vietnam Vets, exit 7.
Pourvu. It's all Frenchy and fancy, meaning for you.
Score!
Hey Nashville, ready for a leap back in time this Veterans Day? Join the Kiwanis Club at Centennial Park for a World War I Remembrance Spectacular. Hear from Kem Hinton, Colonel Stephen Todd, and veteran advocate Jennifer O'Neill. We're gathered at the Mother Monument November 11th, 1 p.m. Experience history with a World War I camp reenactment by the 9th Kentucky Infantry. And yes, there will be food trucks. Honor, remember, and celebrate with us this Saturday, 1 p.m. The Kiwanis Club of Nashville, serving our community since 1916.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Now, your Game Center update.
This Game Center update is delivered by Black Tie Moving. This is Nick Frazier. As the Tennessee Titans look ahead to their matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're dealt a difficult hand with the offensive line position, with Chris Hubbard recently being on the concussion protocol list and Nicholas Petit-Frere having a shoulder injury that will require surgery. After Thursday night's loss to the Steelers, head coach Mike Vrabel spoke to the media after the loss about Jalen Duncan and Dylan Radins on being ready and the opportunity at hand.
It's good to see him be able to be ready to go and take advantage of his opportunity and compete. We'll keep working with Jalen and make sure that he's doing everything he can, and if he gets an opportunity here, be ready to go.
Can the Titans get their first away win this season? As for the Nashville Predators, they currently sit 5 points behind the Central Division leaders, the Dallas Stars. The Preds look to close the gap tonight as they take on the Calgary Flames. Pre-game coverage starts at 7 with puck drop to follow at 8. I'm Nick Frazier, and you're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Game Center update delivered by Black Tie Moving. Use the promo code GAME to score 10% off your next move.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 1025 and 1063.
And the score!
You can run different offenses.
The doors on the board. Off the field, on the field.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mace.
Who is pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willie Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personalities of all time.
On 1025 and 1063, The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willie, D-Mace. Mike Vrabel is up at the podium, so we'll send it over to him now.
Rocky. Remember training
from the movie.
The movie Rocky?
She's not nicknaming any of us.
No, I know. Yep, there you go.
I know,
Actually,
I'm
a
older
good one.
than you, Mike.
Have you eaten lightning and crap and thunder?
Exactly. Well, that was Rocky too. Like I said,
impressive. So let me just kind of clear up some things here going forward. Will's going to be our quarterback. We're gonna go with Will. We think that's the best opportunity for our football team right now, and see where he's at. I think Ryan will progress through here this week. I think and hopeful, to be a backup for us and prepare as a starter. But that's where we're at right now. And I shared that with the team and, had a conversation with everybody involved. So that's what that'll look like. There'll be some moving parts along the offensive line, as we work our way through the week just with health. So won't be able to give you much insight there moving forward.
How did Ryan take the news when you had the conversation?
Well, again, I just a lot of respect for Ryan personally, professionally. We've won a lot of football games here with Ryan and just was a professional, certainly, disappointed. I'll keep that conversation between him and I and allow him to speak for himself.
What was it that Will did to make you?
Just where we're at right now. I think just looking for something, and it was able. Again, I think that there's clearly something there. We want to be able to continue to work with them and progress and develop and win, and that's how you get better. You only get better by going out there and playing, especially at that position. So this will be a huge test for any quarterback going on the road in Tampa with what they're able to do, how well they're coached schematically, but also the players that they have, the pressure packages, the disguises that they're able to have, and as many turnovers as they've been able to create.
In this decision, what was the balance between what gives you the best chance to win Sunday versus what's best for Will's progression as a quarterback?
I just think of everything we're doing, we're trying to do in the best interest of the football team, and that's today. And then again, what happens in the future, I can't control. I'm focused on today and the decision, at that position.
When you look at the way Will has performed, I mean, the arm talent is obvious. And yes, the mistakes are there, but it does not appear that the moment is too big for him. And how much of it is
again, those are things that we'll continue to coach. And, he's played 2 games. And again, this is, I think some of those things are accurate, Corey, about just the ability to handle the operation, and which is critical in some of those situations, and as it relates to the disguise and getting in the right call and command and all those things. But you have to, at the end of the day, you got to make plays, you got to deliver the football to the guy that's open and make great decisions.
Have you seen his teammates kind of embrace him in this role these last 2 weeks since he took over?
I think our team is gonna, they're gonna play hard for, anybody that's out there at any position. And so, again, we got to protect the quarterback. That doesn't matter who it is. Our ability to stay balanced and run the football and play better defense, take care of the football, start creating some turnovers, and hopefully that'll lead to wins.
Beyond maybe the football-specific stuff, what have you seen Will do to carry himself as a leader, as a quarterback inside the building?
That goes for every position on this football team. Your ability to know what to do your job, to help the guys that are out there with you or next to you, whether that's an offensive lineman. That's how. Again, there's no restrictions on leadership. We've said that from day one. If a young guy can come in there at any position and show that they, know what to do, and communicate and play hard and help the team, then that's a great sign of leadership.
In terms of trying to protect Will, what does the offensive line situation look like in light of Nick's injury?
The same thing it was 5 minutes ago, Terry, when I said that it'll be a work in progress throughout the week. So that hasn't changed since I made that statement. But I'll keep you updated as it goes. Yeah.
How surprised have you been with how Will has played these 2 games and where he is at as a rookie?
I don't want to say surprised. Again, he missed some time, some quality time against some, great opportunities to get good practice reps in training camp and playing, those games. And so, I think the ability to be able to miss some of those reps, those speed reps, somewhat live reps in practice, and then, live reps in the game, start the season and continue to understand what we're doing and then take advantage of his opportunity. So that's all we try to do with every position here is coach every single one of them and hope that we get them to a point where they're ready when they get an opportunity, they take advantage of it.
Seeing him out there in that live action over the last couple of weeks, did you learn anything new about Levis?
It's been it's been 2 games, so I do think that there's been good, good pocket presence, and again his ability to move the offense, and again we've got to be better on third down. Our third down isn't where it needs to be by any stretch, and make sure now as we move forward against a really good red zone defense, that we're tightening things up and that we're staying efficient. Like we talked about coming out of Pittsburgh when we did have positive gains, that's going to be critical.
Obviously, this wasn't where you were with Will even 2 months ago. What exactly has changed between then and now? What maybe have you seen from him behind the scenes or in these 2 games of action? And is this decision as much a function of where the team is in this season as it is Will's progression?
Well, it's where we are today. It's all we can focus on is where we're at today. Trying to get back in here after a couple days off after a disappointing loss, and that's the I think being able to evaluate him in game circumstances and just kind of what led to the decision.
One game at a time mindset, but how much you feel like you're kind of in a now or never situation?
I try not to look too far ahead. It's a long season. We got to focus on today. We got to focus on, getting back into this thing, get an understanding of what and who Tampa is in all 3 phases, and everything else will, take care of itself. Every game is critical. Every day is critical. I can't worry about something that's may or may not happen in the future. He's in protocol, and we'll keep you updated. I don't think wouldn't say that he'd be available this week based on just where he's at right now.
What about Chris Hubbard?
Chris will be out there. I think he's got to go through some full practices to where then he can be evaluated after that. But he's at that stage where he can practice.
Encourage maybe what you saw from Kyle Phillips as he kind of tries to get a little bit of a groove.
Yeah, he was huge there at the end of the first half and ran some nice routes and was able to get out of bounds and be available and not get be able to get out into the route. So it was good. It was really good.
Mike, did you feel like it was important to have some clarity at the quarterback position, to go ahead and tell the team to where this wasn't something that lingered?
I felt, again, I make decisions, Gentry. I don't know if they're always the right ones, but I try to be decisive in the decisions that we make. But I also try to, be as honest as always with the team, and just wanted to just let them know so that everybody was on the same page moving forward. And it took about 30 seconds, and then it was Tampa Bay preparation and everything that we feel like we need to do.
When was that conversation with the team?
Our team meeting started at 10, so sometime thereafter.
And just to be clear, Ryan is fully healthy and able to play, correct?
I wouldn't say that, but he's working his way back from a high ankle sprain.
When you look at you've had a few days to look back at your run defense, specifically against Pittsburgh. Was it, setting the edge, holding your zone, or were guys just getting handled them.
Well, I mean, we misfit some runs. It's all of those, Corey. I mean, if you could ask me a specific one, I would tell you they blocked us. We didn't fit it very well. We gave up an edge, right? It's not just one thing, right? That's where the breakdown occurs. It's where you get the double-digit runs and creases or edge.
Of the issues you've had, though, that with the personnel you've got, that would appear to be one of the more correctable, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're used to playing good run defense around here. So just making sure that we're very conscious that just because maybe a team hadn't run it doesn't mean that they're not going to try, especially when you're in split safety defense and some scheme runs that we'll have to adjust to and be better and fit them. Some they can't hand the ball off on the 10-yard line and walk into the end zone. I know that. Like that can't happen.
You guys have found really all your success this season at home and struggled on the road a little bit.
We've lost 4 games by 1 score. Right. We laid a turd against Cleveland. I mean, point blank. And so go ahead. I apologize for interrupting.
I agree it's not as simple as that, but is there anything to the difficulty of playing on the road?
Just handling the road environment. We went down there and turned the ball over in New Orleans, had as many false starts as humanly possible. I mean, we ran out of guys to jump. But I think handling the road environment is critical so that you're not late on a snap count. I thought that had improved, in Pittsburgh. Didn't win the game. But again, it's, knowing the center and being able to mix up silent cadence on third down or when we're in the gun so that we're coming off on the football and the defensive line isn't creating a new line of scrimmage. Receivers running off the football, getting open quicker. So there's some things that you have to do on the road, and then take care of the ball and turn it over. So again, we've been close, and that's not anywhere near good enough, but just been competitive at times.
Anticipate having Roger and Sean good to go for Sunday?
Yeah, Sean won't practice today. I don't, so we'll see where he is at the end of the week, but Roger should be good to go.
Christian's responded the last couple of weeks after a couple of rough games early in the season. Seems like
keep battling and competing, and it hasn't been perfect, but I feel like he's really again, I know the corner's first job is to cover the guy and make sure that his man doesn't catch the ball in man coverage or match coverage, and then being able to break on the football in zone. But been impressed with the way he's tackled and replaced. I mean, it's been probably the best from Christian that I can remember. I think he feels stronger physically. I can remember a couple in Atlanta, where he's stepping up there and replacing and fitting and running his feet, and pretty impressive. So it's a tough job playing corner in this league with the rules, and so you just keep challenging and keep showing back up and competing.
Couple more.
When you look at Baker Mayfield, is getting your hands up as important as
Well, it's
anything?
not that simple. It's not that simple. He's had him, but he's also got great arm talent. He can throw the football to all parts of the field. He's elusive. He's got a good knack for avoiding a rush. Been some times where he's ducked under sacks and got away. Kind of steps up in a pocket and gives some ground. And with the play action pass, it's going to be critical that that we're able to somehow affect the timing of that. That's such a large part of what they do. And so, yeah, I mean, he's had passes batted, but you can't just stand there at the line of scrimmage hoping to jump up and bat one of the passes. I don't think that's necessarily the action that we want either.
Coming off a Thursday night game, it's commonly referred to as the mini bye. I know you don't get a lot of extra practice out of it necessarily, but are you able to do some of the same self-scout things or reset in any way with your team, given those extra couple days?
Just trying to focus. I think, yeah, I mean, we all just try to do a little reflection. And again, my focus is sometimes maybe about what we didn't do or about what's going to happen. And so for me personally, I'm focused on, what I can do today to help our football team, what I can do today to coach our team, make sure that they're ready. And I ask them to do the same thing. Let's not worry about things that could or couldn't happen. Spend too much time worrying about that. But also take a look at what has happened and ask why and try to figure out, what it was, and is it correctable? And then at some point in time, we got to move on, and we got to, get better today.
You guys did anything in that was part of your direct message to them at 10 o'clock this morning?
Well, sometimes it's how I feel, and I think that, and again, having been in those seats, again, I think for another year I'll have played longer than I've coached. But sometimes the message is about how I feel and trying to figure that out, and not how I feel, but what do I need, and trying to translate that and trying to have a pulse of the football team. And, we've had some guys that are here that have won football games and that, that want to win and have won and are going to win. So just making sure that we're not worried about anything that's going to, we're in this position, we've had a little bit of time off. Let's get back, let's get healthy, figure out who we've got, and find out how to go on the road and win a game.
Dylan's had some struggles, but is he playing his best football for you now when given the opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dylan's just been very versatile. He popped in there, wherever you need him, whether that's guard or tackle, and some of that versatility. He's a smart player. And, when Dylan plays square and he plays with his feet underneath him and not off balance, it's, been very effective.
Is there a scenario in which you consider
I guarantee you, yes, there could be some scenario that you guys could all come up with, not to cut you off, but I promise you we can make some scenario for whatever is about to come out of here.
You consider giving Skoronski a chance on the outside at all, or is he a guy that you want to continue to develop inside no matter what?
I just think that Peter can continue to focus and be a really, really good guard for us at this point in time. But there's, I'm sure, a scenario that could come out after today that may make that a possibility.
Thanks, Dave.
Appreciate it.
Interesting little tidbit there at the end from Mike Vrabel.
Yeah,
there could be a scenario where they move Peter Skoronski to left tackle. But I don't want to get into that. I want to get into the big, juicy nugget of Mike Vrabel's press conference that, to be completely transparent with all of you, I did not expect, but I hoped for. Mike Vrabel opened up his press conference naming Will Levis the starting quarterback. Your initial reaction?
That was the right choice. He's been around this league long enough and he understands it. I think everything was, they didn't do it sooner because it's just showing the level of respect for the guy that was underneath center prior to Will Levis, Ryan Tannehill. So you have to show some level, or at least Mike feels you need to show some level of respect and do it in timely manner. I don't think there was ever a scenario where I believed, truly believed that Will Levis wasn't going to be quarterback because, again, we talked about it. He's shown you everything from a skill set wise, and on top of that, he showed you mentally that he processes this game well enough that he has that singular focus of being the quarterback. He has that thing that you just can't teach, that poise under pressure you just can't teach. He's going to have his ups and downs. We all know that. but early on he's shown that this is what they need from their young quarterback. This is what they were hoping to get. This is what they were hoping to realize in the preseason, but because of the injury, they didn't see any of it. So now that they've seen it in real time, not against, third or fourth stringers, I've seen it against starting guys that are coming for your head, and you still showed the poise, you got a quarterback moving forward. So I'm not surprised that he named Will. I'm probably surprised that, he didn't wait a little longer because he really didn't have to.
The timing.
Exactly. He didn't have to sit here and say, well, I'm making Will a quarterback. He could have said, hey, listen, we're still evaluating Ryan, and at right now, if Ryan can't go, then Will's our quarterback.
But I'm very pleasantly surprised that Mike Vrabel named Will Levis the starting quarterback, obviously, but specifically today. Because my biggest question, if he hadn't named a quarterback yet, is what are you waiting on? Like, I understand the idea of holding on to whatever competitive advantage you can hold on to, but let's be honest. I think the Buccaneers will be preparing for Will Levis anyway.
Yeah.
So I am glad that Mike Vrabel went ahead and announced what we already knew deep down in our heart of hearts was going to happen, what was going to be announced inevitably. Now, I saw, Paul Kaharski tweeted out, he said, Mike Vrabel made the announcement that a lot of people maybe didn't expect him to make for some reason. And I didn't expect him to make the announcement because I think there have been a lot of missteps so far this season. The offensive line. Like, did you really address the offensive line in the offseason? Of course, you take Peter Skoronski in the first round, but you're putting him at a guard. You addressed the left tackle position with a backup from the Philadelphia Eagles. You addressed right guard with a backup from the San Francisco 49ers. Just some of the confusing decisions that Mike Vrabel has made and this organization has made that I think I was so fearful. And maybe a lot of Titans fans were so fearful they wouldn't make the clear and obvious decision here with naming Will Levis the starting quarterback. The most important decision that you can make surrounding the most important position in sports at the quarterback position. And this is what we started the show with, was it's a really big decision. And it's a really easy decision to make. And if every big decision you could make could be this easy, well, heck, life would be a whole heck of a lot easier.
Yeah. It's easy, but it's hard as well. It's easy to make the decision for the team. It's hard because listen to what he said. Even though he was talking about other things, he was saying, listen, sometimes I do things for me, like for myself. So it was hard for him. It's easy to make that decision for the team. Hey, he even said, I brought everybody in, the whole team in, because this is no just, hey, this guy's starting left tackle now. No, that ain't one of those deals. Or this guy's playing receiver now. No, that ain't one of those deals. This is a franchise-changing decision. So you go in and you tell the team. That's easy. Like, we're moving forward. The hard part is I had to do it to a veteran guy that meant so much to this team for that period of time and that I respect immensely as a player. That was hard. So in his press conference, he talked about it. I have to, again, it was toward something else. I have to do things, for myself. Well, what did you have to do for yourself in regards to this Will Levis and Ryan Tannehill deal? Well, I had to make sure for myself that I had the words to explain to Ryan Tannehill that we're moving with the younger guy. Then I had to have that conversation with the younger guy. That's for me, like, to reconcile with me. The team stuff, everybody knows in that locker room, Will Levis is the guy we're moving for. But for myself, as a former player, seeing what I've saw, throughout my years in the NFL, I need to find out, like, I got to get it reconciled with myself. I'm going to do it, but I just got to get it reconciled with myself.
I'm just glad that he did it.
Yeah.
I am so glad that he did it.
You know who is the most relieved player or person is Will Levis. Now I can just go and play. Now I have no worry about looking over my shoulder whether they're going to insert Ryan Tannehill back into the lineup when he gets healthy. It is my job now.
And that is what I want to get into. Is how does this change things? Does this change things for Will Levis? We'll get into that. We'll get into your thoughts, and we'll also chat with Clark Lee coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. We are brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and last sale of the year is coming. November 17th through 19th. It's an extraordinary event with savings of 20, 30, up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets. Nothing's held back for this once-a-year, 3-day store-wide sale. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and special pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Lab-grown diamonds, too. Discounts up to 35%. Genesis Diamonds. November 17th through 19th only. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit could get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Willy Donick here. Listen up. You've got a ton of equity in your home, and Loan Pronto can help turn that equity into cash to put it to use. You can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards or pay off personal loans. Start the home improvement project you've been looking for. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact, so your 3% rate is protected. Call right now, 615-499-5780. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards. 615-499-5780 or go online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
West Coast Taco Shop features some of the best California-style Mexican food. And this week, you can try it for half off with Nashville's best deal of the week. Their burritos, nachos, quesadillas, and a variety of tacos are delicious. And once you try this authentic cuisine, you'll become a regular. They also have a salsa bar. And ask about their free live music nights. West Coast Taco Shop, Murfreesboro Pike in Nashville. Get half off now at theGameNashville.com/deals.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Vanderbilt Commodore fans, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, along with 94.9 The Fan, is your new home for broadcast of games and the Commodore Hour on Monday evenings. Catch all the action for football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball all season long. Go Doors!
Get ready to dig into the future of construction. Look no further than Parman Tractor and Equipment. They've got the power and precision you need with Link-Belt excavators, where red means go. Whether you're looking to rent or buy, Link-Belt excavators are known for reliability and performance. When you see that red and gray machine on the job site, you know it's time to get things done. Parman Tractor's team offers unparalleled service. Visit ParmanTractor.com and get in the dirt with employee owners of Parman, where red means go. Don't miss out on totally outrageous customer service.
Blue Raider football lives on 93.3 Classic Hits.
Hey, it's Big Joe. Join Chip Walters and me as MTSU returns home to Floyd Stadium this Saturday. It's our salute to service as the Blue Raiders take on FIU. Our coverage begins at 2.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase say this week's Nashville's best deal is West Coast Taco Shop. Try some of the best California-style Mexican food at West Coast Taco Shop on Murfreesboro Pike in Nashville. Their burritos, nachos, quesadillas, and variety of tacos are delicious. So go to theGameNashville.com/deals to get half off a $20 gift card while supplies last. And joining us now is Vanderbilt head football coach Clark Lee. Clark, appreciate you for joining us, and we appreciate your time on the road to Columbia, South Carolina this weekend, and then a week off, and then finishing out the season against Tennessee in Neyland Stadium. What are your biggest goals before the end of the season?
Well, I think first of all, keep this team in the fight. I think anytime you lose the chance to create postseason as an opportunity, and we've talked a lot about that. I want to be really good for this team. I want to make sure that we're connected and that we're playing a certain way and preparing a certain way. Because these years take a toll physically, mentally, emotionally, and that includes on our staff. And so, a lot of what we're going to do here in the last 3 weeks is certainly stay true to our foundation, but also find ways to celebrate each other and to have fun and to be energized and to look to pull a line of progress here that we can take into the off season to build upon.
Clark Lee is with us. Clark, what do you think is the biggest challenge against South Carolina this weekend?
Well, they haven't gotten the results that they want, but they've got a really talented team, and there's some. This is a good team that we're going to play. I mean, the quarterback is we know is a great competitor, can beat you throwing it, and he's been really good throwing the ball. Can beat you running it and extending and playmaking on the move. They have really good receiver and tight end skill that introduces some matchup challenges for us. And then offensively, I feel like for us it's about how we create the chemistry and connection we need to get our offense moving and to sustain drives. This has been a conversation that we've had now for about a month about third down performance and first and second down efficiency. And I do think there are going to be opportunities for us on Saturday, but are we equipped to maximize those opportunities? Are we finding the space? Are we, making them pay for their mistakes? And if you're not really confident in who you are and what you're doing and all seeing it the same way, you never have a chance to take advantage of those opportunities that you get.
Now, Coach, how do you think your quarterback played, Will Seals? Obviously, we know what happened last week, this prior game. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But from a processing standpoint, what did you see?
I thought he performed, solid. I think there was a couple of times where he was sped up in terms of his progression because of pressure. I thought there were a couple opportunities where if we could have sped up, we had open guys that we just held on to it a little too long. And how critical it is. I mean, if you can throw a receiver open and they can catch the ball in the space and then puncture, you really have a great opportunity, whether that is first down, second down, or third down, to create explosive plays. And to me, on some of our shots, we just held on to it a little too long, and again, that defense was able to collapse around them, or some of our designed rubs and drive concepts. I felt like we threw the ball a little late and threw it into the inside wall of the defense. And so there wasn't a lot of catch and run opportunities for us. There were also some drops, I thought Ken was on time in rhythm and on target at times where we need to pick him up at the receiver position and finish on the ball. All those things to me factor in on ultimately where we judge the quarterback's performance. But I thought Ken was solid. I thought on the whole he was seeing what he needed to see, and we just weren't able to generate enough because of, to me, execution breakdowns, whether it be in protection or breakdowns down the field.
Now, your running game coach, Cedric Alexander and AJ, both average over 5. Alexander close to 5 yards per carry, and Newberry, AJ, averaged over 5 yards, closer, more like 6 yards per carry. Do you like what you saw in those two guys? I know that probably because of the way the game was going, it's kind of took you away from running the football. But even in that small sample size, do you like what you saw from your two running backs?
Yeah, there's two young backs that complement each other in their styles, and I believe there to be more for them on the field, and I think so much of it is learning about the target, the points of a run, how to at times, just take the interior yards, kind of cram it up inside, and maybe you get 4, but when you bounce it, you set up a hold, or you end up on a negative yardage play because we're not blocking out there, right? You take what they give you that then becomes explosive. Both of them have the ability to break them, and I think they do it in different ways. AJ, if you give him some space, he can hit the accelerator really quickly, and he did that on Saturday against Auburn. With Seti, he's got such great balance and body control, and he's strong and low center of gravity, and so he's able to run through contact at times. So again, yes, a lot of promising play from them, and excited for them to continue. But also dealing with just some of the growing pains of young players learning how to play at this level.
Now, you guys have 2 games remaining, but I know you're only focused solely on this upcoming next game with South Carolina. But you have your seniors on that team, guys that will not be with this ball club anymore, moving on, whether it be to the NFL or just working life, period. How are they handling this season? Are they still, which I know the answer to it, are they still in tune, still doing all the things that you want them to do, and also preaching that to the younger guys?
First of all, I got a ton of respect for these guys. They've given a lot to us. It was fun to honor them on Saturday at Senior Day, and would have loved to have sent them off the right way. We weren't able to do that, but I think when you talk about 115 people and you talk about 20 plus seniors, every individual handles adversity a little differently, and so within that, I think it's part of my role and responsibility, especially as we're still turning our roster over. Keep in mind that most all of these guys were guys that were here when we got here, and so I think they would have loved for this year to have been kind of the storybook finish to what they started and the adversity they've gone through. I think the fact that we haven't met the results has been particularly hard for them, and so again, part of my job is to jump in those relationships and to keep pulling them forward and make sure they're really proud of how we close out this season, because in the end, it will have been their investment over time that allows this program to reach its potential and to reach the levels that we aspire to here. And I think their investment, their connection, their leadership here through the finish is going to go a long way, both in helping this program as it moves forward, but also give them peace of mind as they reflect back to say, we finished the job and we finished well.
Clark, before we let you go, I have to let you know. My roommate is a graduate student at Vanderbilt, and he told me that he saw 2 of your players studying very diligently and taking very detailed notes before class the other day, so I thought you would be proud. I thought I would pass the message along.
Well, listen, first of all, you get going on that one, and you saw 2 players, and I'm
like, whoa!
All good things.
But you know what? This gives me a chance to say that is not a surprise. We got a first-class group of people. I want to say this: we've had, and now I run the risk of, we right now have a cumulative GPA as a team of over 3.0. So if you think about that, our running GPA as a program is over 3 point. And I want to say, I'm going to undercut here. I want to say 4, but I'm going to say 3 consecutive semesters as a team over 3.0. And, again, that's not because, we're out recruiting just a certain type of student. There's also a lot of people that share in that success, but what it's a testament to is a group of guys that are doing the small things the right way. They're going to class, they're studying, they understand investment in that area leads to success. It also is a great lesson for them to say how we do anything is how we do everything. And I think in a time when there's a lot of other stories in college athletics, I think that's an aspect of the early part of this build I'm really proud of. And again, credit goes to all the people that support them in those efforts, but certainly the credit goes to them for all their work and investment.
A great testament to your players and a great testament to the program that you're building, Clark. Appreciate you for stopping by. We'll chat next week.
Good to be with you guys. Y'all take care.
Awesome. Yep. Thanks, Clark. Have a good one. Safe travels to Columbia. Appreciate Clark Lee for stopping by and for chatting with us. But coming up next, we are right back into your phones and your reaction. Mike Vrabel naming Will Levis the Titans starting quarterback. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Green right, Fox 2 run, double catch. He takes you inside the huddle through the eyes of a quarterback. Wide 85, tight. Catch ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck every Tuesday at noon as he breaks down the big stories in the NFL.
Buffalo, maybe Miami.
And with the Tennessee Titans.
The Titans might be like, we're interested in a 1-year, $1 million contract.
Tim Hasselbeck is on Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville. You've been hearing me for the last couple of months talk about Zen Sports, the new sport betting app exclusively in Tennessee. And I'm excited to share with you some big news, people. Now, when you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you will receive up to $1,000 no danger first wager. That's right. When you place your first bet with Zen Sports, you can be reimbursed for the amount of your bet, up to $1,000 if that bet loses. And there's even more good news. Zen Sports is rolling out our brand new VIP reward program. This is the new VIP reward program will allow top tier customers to earn more bonuses, comps, and perks. And who doesn't like that? The VIP program is by invite only. So if you feel that your Zen Sports play qualifies for VIP consideration, please check our program. Check the program out. The details, which is on zensports.com/VIP, people. All right, don't forget that /VIP. No other sports book will offer you a premier sports betting experience with 24/7 top-tier customer support and faster withdrawals like Zen Sports. So what are you waiting for, people? Get going and download the app at zensports.com today. Zen Sports, betting just got better, everyone. Gambling problems, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 years or older to bet here in Tennessee.
Attention all fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC experts. Jarrett Companies are looking for experienced field technicians like you. Tired of working for your large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett's Fire Protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC divisions are owned and operated by Nashville natives who want you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to JarrettCompaniesInc.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT CompaniesInc.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Predators fans, Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse Highway 100 in Bellevue, and Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue is your home for hockey action all season long. They are Predators approved and all the games are on, and they'll even give you the sound. Get awesome game day drink specials on Blue Note Bourbon and Black Abbey Beer. When you think hockey, think Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse Highway 100 in Bellevue, or Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue. Go Preds!
My foster parents didn't just teach me to fish. They taught me that persistence and patience pay off. They didn't just teach me to bake the perfect birthday cake. They also taught me to measure and meet my own potential. They didn't just teach me to garden. They taught me to plant seeds and watch them grow. And they didn't just teach me to walk. They taught me to stand on my own 2 feet. Foster a child and change their future. Visit youthvillages.org/foster.
Get ready to elevate your game day experience. Titans fans, it's all happening at Mimo Bar on Titans Terrace. Just a short walk from the bridge at First and Demumbrian. They've got your epic pregame and postgame covered with their Italian classics and sensational cocktails. Your senses will be on a joyride. And hey, listen to this. Everyone at the Titans Terrace gets a chance to bag a Gibson Guitars merch bundle, a $100 Mimo postgame gift card, or a weekend brunch for 2. So why wait? Mimo Bar, where Nashville's heritage meets Italian flavor.
Today's world is filled with many things that can push us to our limit. An upcoming move should not add to that list. Hey, it's Caroline Fenton. And when you choose Black Tie Moving like I did, you get a highly awarded Inc. 500 company. From the free estimate by a local professional moving consultant to the red carpet treatment, they take the stress out of the process. So visit blacktiemoving.com or call 615-437-8401. Mention GAME, G-A-M-E, to score 10% off your next move. Let Black Tie Moving make your next move the best move of your life.
Nashville's radio version of The Odd Couple.
You would trade for the third pick? Yeah, I don't know that I would do that.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode.
I'm here for the discussion. I'm not. It's a good one.
It's absurd. Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 9.
Win the games. When they get in the playoff, they'll have a chance to.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
So let me just kind of clear up some things here going forward. Will's going to be our quarterback. We're gonna go with Will. We think that's the best opportunity for our football team right now, and see where he's at. I think Ryan will progress through here this week. I think, and hopeful. To be a backup for us and prepare as a starter, but that's where we're at right now. And I shared that with the team and, had a conversation with everybody involved. So that's what that'll look like. There'll be some moving parts along the offensive line, as we work our way through the week just with health. So won't be able to give you much insight there moving forward.
Thank you, Mike Vrabel, for making the much anticipated announcement that we really all expected, that we really all felt like was the right decision to make and the right move, announcing Will Levis as the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. Now, my question for you, D-Mase, is what does this change? Does it change anything? Either for Levis or from a locker room perspective.
I think from a locker room perspective, it's a seal now. It's sealed. It's cemented. We're not. There's no rumblings in a locker room. Not to say it's going to divide, but I'm saying rumblings of veteran guys are thinking, man, I wonder when Ryan comes back, what's going to happen? Is he going to play? Is he not? Are they going to let Will handle it moving forward?
But they all have to know.
Yeah, but even in knowing, there's still sort of that unknown because it hasn't been said. So now it gives the locker room this definitive answer. Now, whatever you were thinking or wasn't sure of, now you are. He's our quarterback. Okay, moving forward, he's our quarterback. Ryan will be our backup. He's getting himself healthy, but he's our backup moving forward. So in the locker room, it's like, okay, all right, everybody's going to get behind this young guy. If they wasn't behind him already, I'm sure they were. But it does bring a sense of energy. We talked about it earlier in the show, energy for the offense. I think it brings energy for the defense too. Because the defense is seeing what this young kid is doing, and they're liking it. Now
Jeffrey Simmons, in that video that the Titans put out in that game against the Falcons, Jeffrey Simmons was like, let's go, our guy Levis. Like, he was so energized.
Yeah, because they
and that trickles down.
Yeah, they have a young quarterback who they see has the poise and the maturity of a veteran guy. And again, they know it's going to be some ups and downs, but what they have seen, players know what they have seen. They're good with it. They're ready to roll. So for the locker room, that's what that means. For Will Levis, it means this is my team. Now it's my team. Now I need to start, if he wasn't already, I'm sure he was, I need to start acting like a starting quarterback in the National Football League because there's only 32 of these spots. I need to start acting like a starting quarterback. However that is, that's how he's going to continue to approach the game. No more social medias, no nothing. He's going to be singularly focused in on how do I make this team better, all while making myself better as well. So for Will, it's definitive. Now, I'm the guy. No need to look over my shoulders. Now I can refer to Ryan Tannehill and ask Ryan Tannehill questions without feeling as if, man, eventually he's going to be back in this driver's seat again. And then Ryan can now, approach this young man as he's the future. I need to help him out as much as possible moving forward, so we can be as successful as we possibly can this season.
Let's get into your thoughts on this. Your initial reaction to Mike Vrabel naming Will Levis the starting quarterback. B-Man texts in, phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, says, damn, Vrabel's extra spicy today. I didn't think so. I actually thought Mike Vrabel was chiller than normal.
He was in a happy mood today.
He seemed to...
Had a haircut and everything.
Oh, my goodness.
There you go.
New haircut, new quarterback.
Absolutely. There you go. I think, again, when did you come in on the press conference? If you came in on a press conference when he sort of interrupted, and he said, I'm sorry for interrupting you. And not too many times Vrabel apologized.
He did that twice.
Exactly.
I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Exactly. So
there are days when he'll just go ahead and just run all over you.
And won't say a word in regards to saying, oh, I'm sorry. But it was a more tamed Coach Vrabel. That's what it was, to me, at least.
And there was one thing that I picked up on whenever there were questions asked, and good questions asked, questions that should have been asked, basically about what changed from the beginning of the season to now, where Will Levis was quarterback 3, now the starting quarterback. What have you seen, the development that you've seen from him? Several questions, just basically talking about how did we get here? What have you seen from Will behind the scenes and on the field? And Mike Vrabel was very quick to turn it around to the team as a whole, to, this is what's best for the team, or the team feels this way, or this is just, what's expected as any player in the National Football League. I know that there's going to be so many Titans fans out there that interpret that as, well, Mike Vrabel doesn't like Will Levis. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. That was kind of the narrative after the Falcons game, when there was kind of an awkward interaction between Vrabel and Will Levis, and everyone said, Mike Vrabel hates him. No, he doesn't. I think that just based off of the comments in the presser, I think that was Mike Vrabel's way of not getting Will too high and not getting Will too low. That's what Mike Vrabel does all the time. When a player has a great day, when a player has a not so great day, Mike Vrabel defers to just making things about the football team. The quarterback position, it's no different.
Yeah, but he knows that moving forward, there's a way that you got to handle the quarterback position, and he started off by handling it in that manner, making it not necessarily a sole focus, because he said, I'm not surprised. He didn't get much playing time because of injury in the preseason, but to think that I am just floored or surprised that Will is able to do some of the things that we have seen him do, he's like, it's not surprising. If you just, they've scouted this guy. The big arm, all that. I'm not surprised by it. Neither is Coach Vrabel. I don't think anyone on that coaching staff is surprised by the big arm. What they want to continue to see is that poise, which I think you will continue to see. Better decision making in certain situations. Not that he's made egregious bad decisions, but instead of throwing it to D-Hop, throw it to Kyle Phillips. He's wide open in the middle of the field. Instead of predetermining where you're going to throw, what spot you're going to throw it to. Watch and pay attention to how that receiver comes out of his route, because you may have to throw it in a different angle. Those are some of the things that he will get better at. But as far as like the poise, I mean, yeah, it's gonna continue. The big arm, hell, we knew that. So he's not surprised by some of the things that have happened.
It's a good day. I think it is a good day.
The future has started.
A good day for this current team. It's a good day for this franchise. And overall, whether this is fair of me or not, I feel relieved. Because I haven't agreed with every decision that Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon and this entire team has made over the entirety of this year and the entirety of this season. I haven't agreed with the way that they've made up the offensive line. I didn't agree with the Kevin Byard trade. But this was the right decision that Mike Vrabel made, naming Will Levis the starting quarterback. I know Jarrett's got some words about Mike Vrabel's press conference, so we'll get to that coming up next. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Be loved and love on your people. Peace.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Actor portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to the Tennessee Men's Clinic in Franklin. Got some lab work